stopped at a hauling day during the work day, and I went in the back door and I go, I think it was Ashley.
Can I just say I like going in the back door too?
Yes. But up. Wait. We were. But anyway, I went in. I stopped there during the work day.
I gotta keep it Yikers Island too.
Yeah, I know, Yikers. Yeah.
And we're live.
So we're for these lights.
We're here today with the president of my club, Tommy O'Leary, Mark DeBellis, another member, and my father, Gregory Morrison.
All right.
You
Another
allowed
member.
to speak right now? Hey.
What's the
Yeah,
name
you
of the
can
club?
speak. You gotta be way closer.
What's the name of the club? You didn't mention the name.
Oh, right here,
Well,
Värken Crüe.
yeah, there you go.
Värken Crüe. It's us in the
There's
flesh.
a story right there.
Yeah.
So, I guess the first thing we should start with is
A drink?
Sure. Yeah. Cheers.
I'll top mine off, man.
Cheers.
Okay.
Hey, this is the first podcast. And
Salute.
how many months, babe?
It's our
Like
very
3
first.
months?
For me, it's our very first.
yeah, cheers to that, and cheers to our first podcast back in months.
I think I'll top this puppy off.
So, I think we
Hopefully
should
you
start.
post.
I think we should start with talking about what the actual club means. Värken Crüe Riding Club.
You got to be a member, though, to understand.
What do you mean, what the name means? We can tell you what the club's about. Is that what you're asking?
Sure.
Yeah, see that,
Well-
Tommy? Yeah. If you want to know what the club what the name means, you got to be a member.
Yeah. So the club is about basically to raise money for the innocent, for the kids that didn't have a choice with their illness or whatnot. Which is not to get into a long story, which is one of our brother members, Gary. He was raising money with his car club.
Well, why don't you tell them a little bit about Gary? No, is that too personal?
Really? I got to talk about that guy?
Oh, man.
If he's here,
Ratings will go right down.
If he was here, he'd be like, "Go fuck yourself." It's like, I met Gary working at Con Edison. I think about 6-7 years ago at this point, and we were like brothers, like for 100 years. We never knew it until we met, and we hit it off. And I was the best man at his wedding. He recently got married again. Yes. But yeah, he that's priceless. That's fucking priceless. I love this shit. But he was running a car show at a ShopRite. He's doing a car cruise, and he did two car shows.
ShopRite
here.
where? Carmel?
Carmel on Route 52 there. The reason why I started was to raise money for the Children's Hospital because he went through a lot of turmoil in his personal life. I don't want to get into it because it's his business, but
That's
he
fair enough.
really, I don't know a guy with bigger shoulders than him. I mean, it's remarkable. All the shit that he put up with all the tragedy that he had to endure with his family, including losing his first wife to a heart attack. But I won't get into the kids. That's his business. But because of that, that's why he was running that car show to begin with. And then when we hooked up at Con Edison, he saw that I rode a Harley and whatnot. And he came up with the bright idea, like, hey, let's start a motorcycle club. I was like, whoa, there's more to it than what you think because he knows nothing about the motorcycle world, about the family and everything. The motorcycle family. So we talked about it, and we came up with Värken Crüe RC, and it's for the same purpose. So he shut down the car club, and then we started Värken Crüe RC. And
So it basically converted.
Yeah, well, we
almost.
converted, but it's on a different level altogether.
Of course.
Because it's not the same thing. Like a car club is a car club. Like, anybody could be a member. There's no rules or regulations or anything. Nobody has to follow any, standard protocol guidelines.
I'm just saying the idea behind it, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same. Yeah, exactly. The same topic, but a different book.
Same goal, different book. Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously we had to start Värken, and you need a minimum of 6 guys, and I called up Mark, and he more than willingly said, yeah.
Can I actually, that was actually one of my questions. Could you kind of go over a brief background of how you and Mark met, how you guys came about? Or if Mark, you want to talk about it.
He moved in the neighborhood.
Yeah, let me
where
speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
He'll talk, incessantly. So
Wait a minute.
let's
Tommy, me and you should do a podcast, just me and you. It would really be
let's
great.
break up the
You don't have
monotony.
enough time for us to do podcasts.
So I met Tommy in the year of our Lord, 1999, when we moved to Shrub Oak. When I got married, my wife and I got married, we moved to Shrub Oak. And his
Where are you
mom and
from
dad
originally?
from the town of Mount Pleasant in
okay.
Hawthorne.
They're very pleasant in Mount Pleasant, by the way.
Yeah.
They are.
So
Except they don't tip that well. No.
Nah, fucking rich people. So we, I moved basically to his childhood home where his parents lived, and then I met Tommy, there. And I didn't ride a Harley until about 2005 or so. I remember Tommy was the first person I called when I decided I want to get a bike.
Tell a story. You got to tell a story.
It's
tell
great. So I'm like all excited, but I had some hesitation because I never rode a motorcycle in my life, not even a dirt bike, nothing.
That was the same way.
So, the first person I thought of was, let me call Tommy. He'll have some wisdom. Maybe he'll take me.
Don't get a Sportster. Is that what you told him?
No.
Wait for it.
Tommy's all about like simplicity. There's no complexity with it. Everything's gonna take an hour and a half. No big. So I'll never forget. I'm like, so dude, what advice do you have? Will you show me how to ride? Will you take me out? I don't know. He's like, dude, can you ride a bike? Can you ride a bicycle? I'm like, of course. He's like, well, it's the same thing, except there's a motor on it.
I did say that.
Yeah, those are his exact words. So, so the rest is history. And, when he called me with this, I mean, I had like no. So we rode over the years, and always loved riding with him. Probably my favorite guy to ride with, even to this day. But when he came up with the idea of a club, I had been around,
You've been in the motorcycle
and
world.
a little bit. So was he. So he knew. But basically, what I want to say is, whatever he wanted to do, I was like in. I had no questions. I'm like, dude, you want to have a club? I'm in. So
well, you did pass some comments, but we won't get into that now.
Yeah.
Not on social media.
Yeah.
But I thought you. No, Mark. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So, I'm happy to support, and as you know, what we do is unique because we're.
Well, we're still trying to do what we do is unique because what really kicked us in the ass is this COVID-19 thing.
Oh yeah,
true. I mean, our first year out, we went around all the club world and everything. We campaigned, we showed support, went around to everybody. Everybody knows us now. I assume everybody knows us and respects us. Hopefully, we haven't gotten our ass kicked yet, so that's a plus.
That's a huge plus.
Amen.
And then we brought on board you two guys. I mean,
I
don't want to get to your discount over here.
That was the next thing I was gonna say. So, Dad, my father, Greg, he got affiliated with the club before I did, of course. And how did you?
How did we find him?
That's what I want him to explain.
Richie,
Let him speak.
Tommy.
Richie.
Richie.
Is that your answer?
Richie
Oh,
is
wow.
another member. in our
Richie,
club. He's actually our vice president.
He's
now.
our vice president. Yeah.
I used to stop. Richie was working as a mechanic at my company I worked for. I'm a service tech, and he was working in a shop on the trucks, and I used to go in there and BS with him. And then we used to talk about cars and motorcycles a little bit. And next thing you know, he actually left to go on to a better job, and he mentioned something about the club.
Huh.
And I says, what club? So he says, Värken Crüe. I said, you're in a club? Because I'm dying to be in a club. I've been looking for...
I met you up at Maroney's, and we had just gotten the club started.
Right.
And I asked Richie about you, and he's like, I'm working on him,
Yeah.
So it's Rich. That's great.
Well,
I'm very pleased.
well-
Greg was our first prospect, right?
Right.
He's the first person to earn a patch.
Outside the circle.
I don't know about earn a patch. We didn't have
No.
a choice with him.
Wow.
No, he straight up earned a patch.
that's another
Remember that first
story.
time that we went on a ride with him? He showed up at the gas station. He opens up. We need what was it? We need a pressure gauge, or we
Tire
need
gauge.
a
Yeah.
tire gauge.
Right, Tom.
And he
He
had it.
tries. He tries.
So no, your father's the first person to earn a patch, which is pretty mint. I'm still going to get him a special patch for that. So just trying to figure out what to call it.
How about the first?
Besides Wanderer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
like
the
firstborn
Wanderer
or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, we got him a flash as Wanderer because.
Can you explain that?
Yeah,
Talk about that.
I'm the president. We go to parties. He's supposed to be sticking to my side. I walk over to the bathroom. Like I started out from point A to go to point B. I turn around. Where's Greg? He's like, he's wandering.
Anyone who's listening to this and knows my father is gonna think that is so funny.
He meanders. He's like a lollygag. I don't know what he
I'm a
does. He's-
meanderer, yes.
Yeah, the meanderer.
Well,
Wanderer.
in fact, the other reason, too, I wander, because
ADD,
when I'm
that's what
with
he's
the
gonna say.
president, I'm with the president at all these functions, and, you hear the same
Bullshit.
shtick, but,
Yeah.
I can only, you can only,
You can only
hear
listen
so
to
many
it 30 or
times.
40 times. Yeah.
So so I said, I'll let him do his thing. I'm watching him though. I mean, I'm doing my job.
From a half mile away.
I have his
he's
back.
wandering around,
I had
yeah.
his back no matter where I was wandering.
Meanwhile, somebody's punched my head and wait a minute, I'll be right there. It's like,
And that's just what I do. The
You're right,
ADD
Greg.
thing,
You're right. Otherwise, you won't be a member of this club.
Nice. More than
Furthermore, about members of this club, we welcome anybody that's interested in joining us. We're all about having fun and riding, laughing, drinking, eating. You know, we go to all the parties, you know, to show support so we can get it in return because that's what the motorcycle community is about. But I think with us, it's specifically every motorcycle club says they're part of a family. They're part of a brotherhood. But we feel everybody that has prospected and made it into this club, we actually are a family. And we do nothing but we do nothing but laugh. We ride together. We eat together. We drink together. I mean, the other night, you guys weren't there, but Richie got so drunk. I go, Richie, you okay?
I was there in spirit because you guys called me, and I was like,
he couldn't even finish the sentence. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was like, I go, you're not going there. No, I'm going. Where's that place? Millhouse, up in Poughkeepsie or something?
Yeah. That's a good place.
He's so drunk. He thinks like everything's open now. Like he's gonna go there, hang out at the bar, like try and pick up women or whatever. I go, Richie, you're not going anywhere. I'm good. Trust me, I'm good. So he goes down and drive. He gets on his bike. Kerplunk. He falls over the driveway.
No, on the bike?
Yeah, he messed up his fairing.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh,
in the driveway. Didn't roll the wheel half an inch.
So
fell over.
Did he end up riding home?
No, so I said, come with me. And I right then he realized like he was pretty bombed. I go, listen, you're not riding anywhere. You got to show responsibility as an adult. You drank too much. Come back up on the patio. He drank 2 bottles of water, and I gave him a pre-workout drink mix, which was like 245 milligrams of caffeine. He was like this by the time he left. So he was good.
Are you sure it was that, or was he like?
No.
Okay,
He was good. He was good when he left. But as he straightened up, I was like, listen, dude. I mean, everybody likes to get messed up and everything, but you got to be responsible, especially when you're on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
And he doesn't drink like that normally.
No, yeah, that's the other thing too. Like even your dad, he's not like a super big drinker. I've never. Well, you got bad tendencies like me. This guy's like.
Nah, it's not really.
He's like Dudley Do right now. I don't know what happened with this guy. He's like drinking water and
Trying to clean up.
Hey, to each his own. Whatever blows your skirt up. Whatever makes you happy. But you got to be responsible, especially when you're on a bike, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're all in agreement. We're all members of this club. That's what it's all about. So if anybody's listening, anybody who is contemplating joining the club, we more than welcome anybody. A potential prospect for our club. Contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever.
Instagram, all the above.
You get hold of Matt, our secretary.
We have a. It's actually up here on the screen right now. We have a club page.
That was Manhattan down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
was awesome. There's no traffic down there.
That's a good picture of you and Richie, man.
Oh yeah, that's me and the
Right,
sip. Well,
right by Freedom Tower, and then this one kind of gets.
Richie's nickname is the Sipper. You give him a bottle of water, he sips on it all day.
Yeah, it's a cool picture.
Yeah, it's a Freedom Tower there. My company was down. We put the footings in for the Freedom Tower. Yonkers contract.
Oh no shit.
We also had to repair the PAT train from Jersey. It was a big job.
Yeah, just for the listeners, because there's some people who just listen and don't actually watch the video version of the podcast. We did a ride through New York City. Like when was this? Like about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, give or take.
And it was
when it was
dead.
There was like tumbleweeds going down through the streets of Manhattan.
Yeah,
It was fantastic.
But it was cool. It was cool to see it like that. I mean, obviously it's not cool.
Hopefully we never see it like that again,
right?
Because it was kind of eerie.
Right. But
Yes.
yeah, exactly. But it was. I shouldn't say it was cool. I should say it was a experience you'll never forget.
Different experience, yeah.
And we got a good ride out of it. We got some. That's a cool picture, man. That you put the footings in, and there you are in front of it on a bike.
Cool.
I did an 85-hour work week on the company oil truck, and at the time my job was I went around to all the job sites, and I had to field all the equipment in the trucks, anything on a job site. And I think I did like 80 or 85 hours that week, and I got a call on Friday afternoon from my shop store. He goes, Tommy, listen, I need a trailer driver for tomorrow morning. I was like, go fuck yourself. I said, what are you kidding me? I said,
was that you or Gary who said that?
No, it was me. I said, no, I'm not interested. Like, I'm senior man. I'll pass it down. He goes, no. He goes, I need 6 trailers. We only got 6, license holders for trailer drivers on our seniority list. He goes, I need you. I was like, all right. So anyway, against my will, I agreed to it. And he told me, you're gonna pick up the tractor. We had a job going on 287, and we had a yard over by the Hutch Parkway. We call it the Hutch Yard. That was back in, that was what, 2002, 2003, something like that. I don't know, whatever. So he said, yeah, pick up the tractor at the Hutch Yard. Go down to Mount Vernon Yard. You're gonna pick up a loaded trailer with a boom section to a crane. You're gonna lash it down. You're gonna go down to ground zero. You're gonna zip in, zip out. It's like going to Wisconsin. Basically, what he said, And I was going to piggyback an empty trailer, chain down an empty trailer, and that's it. You're done. was like, great, all right, fine. You know, I didn't really want to do it, but anyway, the story goes, we get down there, and we looked up the superintendent on the job, and he goes, okay, dude, what's going on, man? I'm delivering the boom section for the crane. He goes, oh, you got to wait for Bay Crane to come in. They got to unload the trailers, and they're not here yet. I was like, all right, listen, you got the cafe here, which is on the south end of Ground Zero. And I said, we'll be in the cafe, we'll get some breakfast and whatnot. Listen, long story short, I left there probably early afternoon Sunday.
Wow.
I was fucking pissed. It's like, I worked like a million hours already during the week, and then, unfortunately I had to stay there the whole weekend. I just remembered an important note. On a more serious note, what was really disappointing, this is at the point where the hole was already cleaned up, all the rubble was already taken away, most of the body parts were already identified, and we were down there to rebuild, and like I said, our company was doing a footing job, and what I noticed when I stuck down there the whole weekend, which was really saddened my heart, you had tens of thousands of people visiting that hole as a tourist attraction. All different people from all different countries coming there just to take pictures of that hole. Like to me, that was disrespect to all the people that died there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm getting into an emotional conversation. Let's get off of this shit right away. What are you doing there?
I don't even know. That's the first time that's happened.
We got technical difficulties.
We're
We'll be
good.
back
We're
after
good.
this
We're
message.
good.
You're good? I'm Tommy. How you doing? You waiting for that. You got to do the drum roll thing. There you go. All right. Anyway, not to get off track. It's,
No, you weren't getting off track.
No,
That's
what
what this is about, man.
Yeah, well, you started about, asking about Värken Crüe and everything. And
I know the whole, can't really explain what it's completely about.
So then
unless you're a
don't
member.
ask.
No, but can you explain what the logo is
Yeah,
about?
why don't you tell them about
Really?
the original idea and how we needed to do something different.
Well, it was kind of like a joke, really.
Right.
Like,
It's kind of a mockery.
everybody saw that movie, Wild Hogs.
Oh,
So we originally wanted to be called Hudson Valley Street Hogs, and we had like a little bullshit artwork done, and we printed out a couple T-shirts, kind of like nothing serious. But then when we decided to get serious about starting a club, we really want to call ourselves Hudson Valley Street Hogs. So one of the things that was recommended to us was you have to check on the name that you pick. So we Googled it, and we come to find out there's a hardcore MC club. What was it?
Florida?
Tennessee, I think it was.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah,
They were called the Street Hogs.
yeah, they're called
And
Street
also,
Hogs.
and also, if I may,
Yeah.
when you have a hog or a pig in your
Yes.
name, you're associated with police.
Police, right?
Yes.
So for those two reasons
Wait a minute,
and some
wait a
other reasons as well,
Wait a minute, can you hear me?
we decided to think of a name, and we had already invested the club, and Tommy and specifically and Gary had already invested in that design. Once we realized we can't call ourselves the Street Hogs, we could actually call ourselves whatever we want. We can have a totally different design. But we wanted to keep the porcine,
In the bike community, just so
Design.
everybody understands, this is misunderstood. This means law enforcement. Which, listen, I got respect for anybody on two wheels, like I've always said. But this depiction here means law enforcement. But we're nothing about that. And if you look at it, it's really not a pig. Everybody, why do you have a pig on your back?
yeah, it's more of a wolf,
You got
bear.
wolf ears, you got maybe a pig jowls, you got a cow snout, you got werewolf teeth. It's kind of like
It's a mix.
yeah, it's a smorgasbord of like a compilation of misfits.
A
you know? It's
mythical,
like-
Right.
So to
mythical
speak,
creation.
So not to give it totally away, but basically, Värken Crüe is kind of like a gang of swine or pigs,
Right.
in
that are not
In a different-
misunderstood, so to speak.
a different language.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, in a different language. We'll leave it at that.
Right.
You're borderline right now. Be careful.
Do I have to flag it?
You might have to edit that out.
I don't think so.
No, we're good.
But anyway, since we started and you guys jumped on board afterwards, obviously, you mentioned your father started first with it, but fortunately for us, I feel we did very well. We were very unknown, and you really don't start a club like that from the beginning.
Well, and how long have we been?
It's over a year now.
Yeah, it's a year and change.
We started the beginning of the previous winter.
Yeah, I mean, and normally, as Tommy's gonna say, I mean, you don't just start a club, right?
Right.
I mean, you go into the motorcycle world, the civilians.
People know you to begin with.
And you go to parties, and people get to know you and stuff. And then maybe after a year and change of that, and people don't think you're a bunch of dicks,
Right.
then you might float the idea of, hey, you know what, we want to start our own club. And then then things happen. But we didn't really follow that, and
That's because it's us, Värken Crüe.
Yeah,
we
'cause
did
we're a
everything
little
backwards.
Misfits.
Yeah.
we did everything right eventually,
Right.
and and so far it's been great,
Oh yeah.
So,
And again, Liz, Mark, you know what I'm talking about. Not to get into specifics, but we had to have a rendezvous with certain individuals to explain what we're trying to do, and right from the get go, like you guys are doing it all wrong. It was made clear to us, you guys are doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but that doesn't intimidate me.
in fact, it got heavy. It got heavy, and as soon as they met Tasso, again, we had to have a
Yeah.
rendezvous.
Remember the phone call?
I feel like though,
got
I
from you?
feel like the only thing, just to interrupt real quick, and then
Be
the
careful
only
what you
thing,
say.
no, the only thing you could say about Tommy is that he's Tommy.
Yeah, no, but people love him, So
that's what I'm
as soon as
saying. That's
the,
what I'm
the those with whom we had to rendezvous, who were a little annoyed with us, as soon as they met
That's to
with
say
him,
the least.
then that was it.
Right.
They loved him, and I
Right.
remember the guy calling me. He's like, I don't know that guy, man. I fucking like that guy. I'm like, I do too. So
Right.
he's a, he's
I
a
remember
good
I
guy.
called Mark with the outcome of the rendezvous, so to speak. He's like, I knew if anybody could do it, you could do it. I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah,
You
just
know, what
me.
did I do?
Tommy, he's a-
Like I said, we started off doing it all backwards, but like I started out saying, like Mark, Mark was talking about whatever, but we did it all wrong. But I feel at this point we definitely made our own mark, and even though we're an RC club, technically it really doesn't matter
So-
what it says on your back, RC or MC. I mean, I like to think of this as a riding club because we ride and we're a club.
Right.
MC says a motorcycle club, which there's a lot of other things-
connotations. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that there really is, and as you said, there's really no difference. But I think in a way, we like show respect maybe by differentiating ourselves a little bit.
We all follow the same rules.
Kind of tipping the
And-
hat.
Well, with us, what we pulled off made a major difference.
Right.
Because there's a couple other RC clubs I know. I can mention them. Crossfire RC out of Norwalk, Connecticut, and then you got Coscob RC,
changed,
which
yeah.
recently they changed. They went to an MC, but great people, both clubs. I met. We've all met them on and off different parties, but the last time I remember, spend some time, especially with Coscob, was at Crossfire RC's party in Norwalk. They got a great clubhouse. If anybody's listening, you want to go to a good party, go to their clubhouse in Norwalk, Connecticut. Great people. Look them up on Facebook, whatever. Really good people. And everything's been great thus far.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, we've come a long way for such a new
we-
club.
Well,
Yeah,
not
you
to
guys
get into,
joined pretty much at the beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like we were around a long
Right.
time.
not to get into our personal business with our meetings, which is a no-no. You don't discuss our meetings with anybody. But I've often said, which I could say publicly, what we accomplished in a short amount of time is epic compared to I'm assuming anybody else. I mean, maybe there's always somebody that did something better, compared to us. But we pulled off pretty much, in my opinion, the impossible.
And we've gotten that feedback from other
And
clubs.
and we did it even with Greg joining. I mean,
Even with
that's what I'm
Greg.
saying.
Right. Oh no.
Try it again.
There we go.
For Greg, you gonna talk tonight or what? What the fuck's going on with you, man? You're the wanderer. You're not the yapper like you're El
tried to-
Presidente over here, right?
I tried to come in a couple times.
Go ahead.
but there
Let's
was no-
put the spotlight on you. Like, can you aim the lights over there? What's on your mind?
So, all right, no. Dad,
with the flow.
I got a question
He's
for you.
going to facilitate.
So what drew you into the club? I know Richie. You met Richie, and there was
Well, as
guys.
soon as I met the guys,
He fell in love.
it was
Yeah.
like love at first
I
sight.
could see it in your eyes. We're like little googly hearts floating.
Yeah, because I've been
It's
looking
it's
for.
you, Tommy.
You got a
That's it.
sound
You
for
know,
that?
I've been I've been in.
Mark knows the buttons better than I do. Mark might have to be our producer.
Might have to.
Go ahead, Greg. It's all
Yeah,
you.
I mean, as soon as I met Tommy, I said, I'm a perfect fit. I just
Oh
knew
yeah,
it.
and Tommy actually had said the same thing about both of us.
Nice. Yeah.
Well,
But you came on the same time as him or no?
No, I was like 2 months behind him, or a month and a half.
So
2
what
months.
happened? He came in and then
Well,
he
he-
told you
to be
about
hon-
it and you were like,
Well, to be honest,
did you what's the word I'm looking for? Did you like encourage him to like come along?
not really. He kind of just put it out in the open.
he mentioned it.
Right. Well,
Well, it was
he didn't-
early on.
Well, he didn't want to kind of. I don't think he wanted to push me into it because he didn't know what the club was fully about as a prospect. You don't really know. You know what I mean? So, but then once he, like I said, once he got to know everyone better, he said, "All right, this is a good group we got." This is me,
Yeah.
subjectively, like kind of.
I think it's a cool thing that we have a father and son in our club.
Yeah.
Kind of what the Teamsters said when he came on board with the Teamsters.
Well, three of us are teams at this table. Me,
Did you
you,
see-
and him.
did you see
Mark,
the-
Mark's
I'm a
in-
college suck ass.
Mark, he's in pharmaceuticals,
Hit
by
the
the
pin.
way.
Hit the
Oh
pin.
no, yeah. No, that
Edit. Ding,
it
ding.
was
Legitimate pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
legitimate.
yeah.
Legitimate.
They make $1 million on a 1 penny pill. Just saying.
no.
No,
Well, you're kind of doing that with the blue pill,
yeah.
somewhat.
Oh, don't even go there right now.
Yeah.
We're not talking,
Now you want to be
we're
quiet.
not talking about erectile dysfunction.
Now you want to be quiet.
That's on another network.
So I don't know. What was your perspective though of like kind of me coming into the club? And,
Well, yeah, like you said in the beginning, I just
Some
wanted to make
trepidation.
sure.
Some trepidation.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew
he
I
wanted to
needed
see what the club was about.
I needed
first,
some
think,
camaraderie
before he brought me in.
and
Makes sense.
I wanted the camaraderie because a lot of my friends retired, moved to Florida, my riding buddies, and nobody to ride with, and plus I needed that social thing. I'm not a big bowler, things like that, so I needed something, So it just worked out. It was a good fit.
Yeah.
And then after a few months, I said, "Geez,
This is good.
This would be good for Matt too." I think.
Ah.
Well, yeah, because none of my friends, at the time, none of my friends even rode. And then as I got kind of involved with the club, my friends started to get bikes, but not
Yeah, so far nobody's been biting the
small,
hook or whatever.
very,
yeah.
very small bikes that, they don't even want to go on the highway with them.
Oh yeah,
So-
wait. No disrespect. You showed me a picture of that bike. What was that bike? It looked
Well,
like
he's
a
been
bike.
he's been on the podcast before, so he's not gonna care. But my buddy Dylon,
Dialon. That's
yeah,
the nickname. Dialon.
yeah, he's got the Honda Grom. That one, that's the one you're talking about. Actually,
Yeah, cool
I'll bring
little
him
bike,
up.
but the thing's
I'll bring
really
him up.
teeny. It's like
You don't
I-
even have to
I can
park
probably-
it. You just pick it up and spin it around and put it back down. To
Yeah,
pull out
pick
of
things
a
up and
car.
put them down.
So Matt, what was your first impression like when you first came into the pig pen for the first time when you met everybody? What
Well,
were
the
your
Värken
what,
pen, so
what
to
were your
speak.
initial
Well,
impressions?
He's like Gomer Pyle.
I met. Well, when I first met Tommy.
Why does
that-
it always come back to me?
Well, because
not me, it's
we
everybody,
did a
man.
ride. I'm trying to remember what we did the first time.
Probably
I know,
drank a lot.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We went.
That's right, we drank a
went
lot.
to a club in Connecticut's party, and when we
What was Charter Oaks?
yes,
Man, listen,
Oh,
anybody listening?
the lobster thing.
Charter Oaks
That was the
Motorcycle
next
Club. They're out of Connecticut. Their clubhouse is in Danbury. They
Great-
put
great
on
people.
They put on great people, and they put on an awesome clam bake. If anybody catches it on social media, make it a point to go there. Well, what was it, $30-$40?
Yeah.
The food is unbelievable.
But you eat like a pig.
Yeah, if you
and it's
leave
high-end.
there hungry, you did something wrong.
Yeah.
right.
It's like they really do an excellent job. Great people. I mean, as well as all the other clubs we've been, socializing with. But just to make a point about those guys with their clam bake, they really did a great job.
So this is the famous bike.
Oh,
you're
that's the
talking about?
bike.
Yeah,
To get a
He-
perspective,
What's
you
that
have
bike
to
weigh? Like
stand.
60 pounds? What is that thing?
225 pounds.
So 60 pounds.
He had a picture of him on it,
250
but
soaking
he must
wet.
have deleted it.
Yeah, you can't really tell it by scale in that.
Let's
picture.
not, we can't jam the guy's bike on,
No, yeah, listen,
He
man.
knows.
Like I said,
he knows.
He knows.
Me,
He
I
knows.
respect anybody on two wheels, man, but that thing is teeny. It's cool, but look, if I sat on that thing, it'd be like a hippopotamus sitting on a toothpick.
Just to
know what I
defend
mean?
him, the reason why he got this as opposed to a Harley was a money thing.
I was gonna say that's what he could afford.
But to be in my opinion, he paid for what he bought this brand new. What he paid for this, he could have got like
a used.
yeah, like something a little older. But I don't think he wanted to learn on it. Plus, he was living at home.
So this is his first bike.
Yeah,
First road bike.
But back to what Mark
road
said,
bike, yeah.
my first bike ever.
I bought
dirt
I
bike?
bought a giant Softail Deluxe, my first bike. They had
That was
to,
a
they had to,
beautiful bike,
they
by
had
the
to
way.
deliver it to my house.
Actually,
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful
Ride it home.
bike.
Yeah.
Matt, I wish
He
you could-
rode my first bike
Listen,
home.
not to interrupt. Tell the story what happened to that bike.
Yeah, well, just to be careful. I mean, I had a real nice. It was a 2005 Softail Deluxe. I mean, it was I fell in love with it. It was the first year of that model. Really
Had the
cool.
big wide white walls. It was
Wide
gangster.
What year?
real
Do you remember
love.
what year?
05.
Oh, 5, okay.
Bought it from Stanford Harley, which doesn't exist anymore.
This is after I got the phone call. Like, so
Fritz's.
you got any wisdom?
Yeah.
You ride a 10
And they
speed
literally
bicycle?
delivered it to my house. I remember the truck coming. I couldn't ride it. I learned after the bike was in
Right.
I used to sit on it in the garage and
Mark, to pay you a comment, you learned good.
I learned good. But
Crazy.
I
fucker
rode
on a
that bike
Pay
for
me my
for,
comment now.
for 10 years. And one night I went to the gym at 9 o'clock at night in Mayapack, Somerstown Center there. At 9 o'clock I left. I just had on like a tank top and some warm-up pants, and I was doing about 45 coming home, and a fucking deer came out. I'm pretty vigilant.
Wait,
and
this is back then?
This is back then. No, it was in 15. 14.
So this is when you first got your bike, your first bike.
No, I had my bike for 10 years. Yeah. Hit a deer. There's nothing I could do. It just came out like right at a perfect moment.
Then it was like,
Yeah.
Tommy, guess what happened?
Big
Well, I told my
big
fucking
deer.
bike out.
Wait a
You
minute.
okay?
I
got
went
road
ass over
rash.
tea kettle, to the hospital. Bike was wrecked.
You bailed? You
Oh
went
no!
over?
I fucking I was
Wait.
rash.
Comical.
bad.
What did I tell you to do? Next time you hit a deer,
What
tell 'em-
what everyone tells you to do is
Run through it.
No, what I told you to
is
do.
to fucking just to grab the deer and ride it down. That's what everyone tells
If
you.
you're gonna
to do.
T-bone a deer, dive off the bike, grab the deer. It's a big, cushy, furry, fucking fur
In theory,
ball.
it sounds
You know?
it sounds like a good idea, but
Much
in practice,
easier
it's
said
hard
than
to do.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 45 miles an hour, you're like borderline to where it becomes difficult. Anything faster than that, probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
probably go to dive on a deer, you're going to overshoot. You know?
Yeah,
You know, fuck
that
it up.
sucked. I had a lot of money in that bike. It was a super
Oh,
nice
I
bike.
got a phone call here.
But yeah, I
Sorry,
got
guys.
hurt, and I figured that was the end of my riding career. But I'll tell you what, man, about not even a year went by, and like that happened like in the summer, so all fall, all winter, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
That wasn't the same bike you have now.
No, it was
Okay.
a Softail Deluxe.
You got slim now, right?
I got a Slim now, which
Tell
is
him what happened with that bike.
No. Well, let him.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but that's part of the story anyway, but go ahead.
So that coming spring, that following spring, 2015, the weather got nice. I start hearing the rumble of Harleys.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could do. Even my wife and kids understood. I was like, you know what? I think I got to get a bike again. And I was expecting them to all start crying.
So you sold that one?
No, it got wrecked.
Oh, so you just
Wrecked, and the insurance gave me a fortune for it. So the bike would probably on the street was worth about 10 grand. It had 20,000 miles on it. It was 10 years old, but I had a mint in it as far as chrome and
Right.
extras. But my insurance company is just one of those insurance companies that pays you for all what you put in it.
Wow.
So my bars were $3 grand. I got 18 grand for the bike.
Wow.
It was worth 10 max on the street.
Wow.
So I sunk that
Put
in
a lot of
the
extras
bank
into that
account.
bike, though,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I want your insurance agent's phone number.
Yeah, it was progressive, man. Back in the day, I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Could not believe it. So, but yeah, the following spring, had to have another bike. Long story short, I wound up with a Softail Slim, which is similar. I like retro bikes and I like small bikes. I don't like fairings and big shit. I don't like baggers like all of you fucking guys with these sofas you drive.
Oh, stop. We're talking
so
sofas.
I like
Yeah,
this
but
one.
Wait. What about the ride we did upstate? You were on
Oh,
your son.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I didn't
gonna die. He's sitting
Yeah.
like, ugh.
This is before you met us. So
And that's when I had my I had a tea
Tommy
bag on
had
my
a
sissy bar.
You had an 03 Fat Boy, and I have my
Fat Boy,
Deluxe.
yeah.
We went for this
This is
awesome
before
ride
the club then.
Oh,
Way
hell yeah.
before.
years ago. I've known him
Way
for 20
before.
years.
Has it been
We
that long
were
already?
we were up.
Fuck, I'm a fossil.
We went through the
99.
Catskills, and we wound up the ride we did. You guys with us? I think we went to the Catskills.
we-
That's the one I was thinking of.
That was cool.
We were coming
Yeah.
down the throughway.
That was October
Yeah.
ride.
So it was after the ride. We're coming home. We hit the freeway, the throughway, and it was
free.
like 90 degrees. All of a sudden, the skies turned black.
It was like Sturgis.
And it fucking rained, and then it hailed, golf ball sized hail.
And tell him what you did, Mark.
Yeah. So
Tell him what you did.
what do you mean? I pulled over.
No. What'd you do after you pulled over? Where'd you go?
We went under an underpass.
No. That was later on. You ran into the woods
Oh yes.
in a lightning storm. Hello?
Dude, there were people
You might as well
pulled
have a-
over,
you might as well have a
like
golf
big,
club in your hand
brawny
like this,
fucking
you know?
bikers, like pulled over, and like little girls running into the woods, hiding under trees. So I'm figured, fuck, I better go hide somewhere. So we're under the overpass, 15 bikes there, bikes everywhere pulled over.
Mark's like this.
I'm going into hypothermia for real.
He's got cut off
Soaked,
sleeves like I'm
my
wearing now. He's
fucking boots are
freezing.
full of water. And right at my lowest moment, I look in the distance and I see bikes, and I'm like, man, it looks like Tom. He had like a mirror helmet back then.
Oh, yeah,
remember?
the guy, the chrome dome, man.
So
it's kind
I'm
of like with my haircut
fuck is
now.
that? So Tommy, like a fucking savior, comes over the fucking horizon.
And there's Mark like,
I'm there.
Is this in the Bible?
Yeah,
no,
so
no, but
he
it's so
fucking
true.
pulls
This-
over. I'm
he's-
like,
he-
Tommy, Jesus Christ. He opens up his saddlebag. He's got fresh T-shirts,
I had
warm
long sleeve
shirts.
shirts. I go, here, throw this
Yeah.
on. He's like, oh my God,
So I
I thought I was
changed my
going to
shirt.
die.
Tommy's like, buy a supporter shirt.
Yeah, so we fucking
Oh,
get
yeah.
back on the bikes. The rain stops. The hail stops. The sun comes back out, 90
Yeah.
degrees again. We get back on
went
the
to
fucking...
Newburgh.
We went to Newburgh, got to a bar. By then, it was
We went
like
to
5 o'clock.
What was
The one
it?
on the water
Wait,
there.
so this was when you already knew him, though?
Oh,
right?
yeah. We had
Wasn't it-
clams.
What was the
show
name of
out.
the place? The bars they
Who the
closed
fuck
down.
knows? I don't remember.
See,
you
it's
guys-
funny. It's
The
funny.
one on the river.
Where
The one-
is
Yeah.
this? Newburgh?
The floating
Billy
one?
Joe's.
The floating bar.
No, the barge.
The floating bar.
closed
yeah,
it.
Yeah, yeah,
I forgot what
Not
it's
Billy
called.
Joe's.
No
Come
idea.
on.
I'm not that old.
Oh my!
I've been
You
there.
know
he's
the
young.
place.
I can't remember the name.
He was
that-
wearing freaking Spider-Man underoos when this was happening.
yeah.
He had the speed racer
If
bed.
I was even here,
He had the speed racer bed. Yeah.
I did have
Yeah.
the Speed Racer.
Yeah.
bed.
Did you really?
The Hot Wheels bed.
That was
yeah.
one of my. That was the most memorable, still to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go through shit like that, that kind of bonds you with people, you know. And even Louis was with us, and a bunch of other guys.
Yeah. What Louis doing it? What Louis doing it? He's
and
like,
Louis was like, yeah,
He never stopped.
yeah. He's
He
like,
went right
he's like
through.
hardcore. He's like, you don't stop. He's like, I don't care what the
You
fuck
ride through
happens.
it.
You ride through it. You don't ever stop. I'm like, all right. well,
Meanwhile, I got
you know,
a
that's
half
for the-
helmet. I'm getting 12 gauge shotgun shells
Yeah,
in the
dude.
face from the
You know how
hail.
rain hurts? I mean, hail.
Oh, yeah.
Hail will
Never
fuck you up,
mind.
man.
Yeah.
That's
talk about
bad
rain even.
shit, man.
Especially on the throughway.
Yeah. But it was so cool. Sun came back out, blistering heat. It was just a memorable.
You had fresh clothes.
Yeah, we had fresh clothes. It was the best, man. That was
I said,
great.
you always got to bring provisions with you. He's like, oh my God, you saved my life. He's like shaking, you know. I
I was
gave him like
forever-
one long sleeve t-shirt, like
Yeah.
he was like putting a parka
I was
on.
forever bonded with Tommy after that
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, but
But-
that goes back to what you said, like how when he said I'm gonna start a club, you were like, I'm in.
Oh, 100%.
I'm in.
100%.
All right, but listen, side note, yeah, I agree. But also, the story you just told, this, whether you're riding by yourself, but especially when you're a club where you can share stories like this is what is part of the camaraderie. You know, like last year we went up to Laconia.
Oh, can you not? You can keep going, but I
What?
want you to tell the Sturgis story with Rich. Or no, was that Sturgis? No,
was
Laconia story
Laconia.
with Richie. Yeah. But go ahead.
Well, I was just going to get into that.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Shuddy. You want me to go on a roll here?
Oh, it stays on? Okay.
So we made plans with myself, Gary, Richie, and Fast Iggy. ... Yeah.
So this must have been when the club first was fresh.
Yeah, that
Embassy
was
stage, yeah.
yeah, it was very
This was with only the original members, right?
sizzling
Because
seven.
that was before he
Yeah.
was in.
This is
Because-
when I was just
Yeah, you
getting
know,
introduced
I just said
to the
last
club.
year. It wasn't last year. It was a few years ago.
yeah.
I think. But anyway, we made arrangements to go up there. No, you were
It
up
had
there
to,
with him.
It had to be
Right.
last year.
You guys
It
weren't in
was
the
last
club
year.
yet.
It was.
We were
What
supposed to
year
hook
was
up
that?
up there.
What year is that? You were up there with your
19.
dad.
19,
Last
guys.
year.
Last
Last
year.
year.
We were supposed to hook up, and Richie called him, and he said, my son was out last night with his friends, or you got too wasted or whatever.
Oh, we gotta tell the story about the in
Right, tell that
Laconia.
story first,
No,
huh?
no. You go. You
no,
go.
tell that story first. I could take a break and take a sip over here.
You're gonna forget.
Yeah, you
All right.
probably
You'll
forget.
remind me. Oh, you want me to tell it now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
go
tell
ahead,
it.
Tommy. Keep going.
The truck, but he'll go first.
The truck.
Just
when
go.
the keys
Go ahead.
got locked
Go
in the
ahead.
truck.
Go ahead, because we were already talking about.
Well,
this.
you already stopped. I was gonna go on a roll here, man. You cut me off
I
at the
know,
knees
I'm
over
sorry.
here, man.
Fucking
I'm
really
sorry.
broke the momentum bad.
I'm
So-
sorry.
He's lost.
I don't know what year was. What year?
It was last summer.
It wasn't.
was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. It was last
was.
spring. Last spring.
No.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was, dude.
Yes, it was.
Move along. It was.
It was
You
when
sure?
we first. It was right after I first.
Did I drink that much? I don't remember.
It's when I had first
Possibly.
met you fellas. You know, that was
Well,
a
I
year
met
ago.
you before that at the Harley deal, like I mentioned earlier in this podcast.
But
But
this
it was
is when
before.
I
It was
was-
before he was even a prospect.
Yeah, but Iggy
Right.
was there. If Iggy was there, then
that was when you guys bought the new, or I don't know about
Right,
you, but
but you're right. It was,
bike.
you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. It was last year. Okay, so it was Gary and his wife and everything. They and as well as me, Fast Iggy, and the Sipper. We made arrangements to go. Well, me, Richie, and the Sipper made arrangements to go up the following day. Gary went up there the day before with his wife, and he trailed his bike up there, and he was already up there. So we were going to come the next day, and we have reservations. Like, you have reservations, you got to go. And the weather report, unfortunately, was the Forrest Gump fat rain, as well as sideways rain and rain that comes straight up from the bottom kind of rain. Right now, I had an old pair of frog togs that I used to use when I was quad, like doing poker runs on the quad upstate, and I thought they were still good. I mean, as naive as I was about those stupid frog togs, the night before I dug them out of the base. They had mold on. They were all muddy and shit from like 5 years before. I was like, oh man, I gotta wash these things, right? Well, lo and behold, a pair of frog togs is basically Tyvek with like a probably
what are
like
they,
a,
like Gators?
no, they're like it's like a Tyvek suit basically, but it's got like a silicone spray on it, I guess, to make it water resistant. Well, I washed them the night before, so next
You
morning,
took all the water resistance off.
right? Next morning, I put them on. I'm like, okay, I'm all set. I pull in my garage, and I had plans to meet Richie and Sipper and Fast Iggy at what's the name of the place over there? Right off 22 with the ladies were McGrath. Yeah, McGrath.
McGrath.
And like, there's really no
Rest in
overhang
peace,
there.
McGrath.
Yeah, there's no overhang there like when it's raining or nothing. So I said, all right, we'll meet there at 7 o'clock because we're riding up to Laconia. It's in good weather.
It's a 5-hour ride.
It's a 5-hour ride in good weather. It's fucking pouring, right? Now, when I give you my word, I give you my word. And I'm a man of my word. I get up there, the time we're supposed to meet, and I'm sitting there. 5 minutes goes by, 10, 15, 20, almost a half an hour. I call Richie, he goes, we're going? I go, yeah, we're fucking going. He goes, we have reservations. He goes, it's raining now. I go, I'm over here in the fucking parking lot. Get your fucking ass down here right now. I'm soaking wet already.
Well, at least Richie was only fucking 2 minutes away.
Yeah, Richie's close. Yeah, he's right down the road, actually.
Where was Jimmy?
So Jim...
He was already there?
No, Jim, same thing. Richie calls him, and Jim, recently we were talking about, we had a story about it this past week, and we were laughing about it. Jim said, he goes, all I know is open up the garage door. It's fucking pouring out. I'm dry as a bone. My bike is like mint, waxed, detailed. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? And meanwhile, I'm in Pauling on the corner where McGrath is, out of the rain, no cover, and apparently those frog togs is like we're being naked out in the rain. I mean, it was horrible. The whole ride up, and to get to the funny part, which you guys already heard me tell a story.
This is the best part.
To tell social media. So, like, Fast Sticky, he had like a Walmart type of rain suit on that split while he was riding up. So he got like half wet, and then I was like beyond wet. My not to be disgusting or disrespectful.
Yeah, we don't
to
need
women.
to hear about it.
Half wet. That's what, like...
My ball
never
sack
mind.
was shriveled up in ways I've never seen before in my life. And
It's like a mission fig.
And yeah, one of the members' wives was following us up in the car. Thank God we put all our bags in the car, and I put an extra pair of boots in there. That extra pair of boots only lasts me maybe an hour and a half. And I literally, no exaggeration, I took my boot off and I was pouring the water on my boots.
Richie.
And it was horrible. And so to get what Matt was getting at, on the way up, Richie was saying he bought a... Oh, Richie just pulled up? Speaking of Richie, so on the way up, Richie was the only one that had the state-of-the-art $1 million
Yeah. He's got the best.
gold card,
The best of everything.
platinum, yeah.
He's got no chicks,
Harley
though.
Davidson, state-of-the-art rain suit. And every time we pulled over, I'd be like, I'm fucking free, I'm soaked wet. And Richie would be like, I'm dry. I'm dry. By the third time we pulled over,
I'm
he
sharp
said
and
it
clean.
again. I was very patient with him. And anybody knows me, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm a very sociable guy. And after the third time, he said it again. He goes, I'm dry. And I was like, I'm sitting there like this, like fucking shaking. I'm looking at him like, motherfucker. I go, Rich, you say that one more time, you're going to be dry and you're going to be fucking bleeding too. And then he looked at me like this, and he never said a word after that. So, and not for nothing, when I got up there and then, the weather got better and everything cleared out and we were attending the rally, I went to the Harley Davidson dealership and I fucking spent $1 million and I got the same suit that he did. And on the way back, when you know it, it fucking rained all the way back.
It did.
And then we pulled over and I looked at Richie and go, Richie, he goes,
I'm
what? I
dry.
go, I'm
dry.
dry. So we all got to, but see, exactly, this is the point, man. These are the stories, like being in a
so
club, it's a
funny.
brotherhood. You become part of a family. We don't claim to be nothing other than what we are. We're just a great bunch of guys. We're all hardworking guys, and we just enjoy each other's company. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, or how much of a fossil you are. Sorry, Gary. I know, go fuck yourself. But
Go fuck yourself.
Well, you know what's funny? I actually, when I heard this story, I hadn't even met Richie yet.
yeah, the
and
sipper.
then I met him, and I was just laughing because I could just totally see it, like playing.
Well, you already
out.
heard the story that I
Yeah,
told you.
yeah.
That's a sipper.
Sipper.
I'm dry. I'm dry.
I'm dry.
You're gonna be fucking bleeding.
And then that fucking laugh.
Yeah. He's gonna be walking in, right?
Yeah.
Put the headphones on. Let him introduce to the.
She's gonna be timid.
Yeah.
be
Well,
shy.
yeah. Richie.
That laugh ain't shy. That's for sure.
Well, you get a few drinks in
Oh,
there.
no,
he's
our
good.
laugh goes up
Like the other night, I'm
6
good.
dB. That shit goes up. His
Yeah.
laughs like 89 decibels when he laughs.
You're going for what they call those bell tones after you listen. Yeah. Rich is good people, man. I love that guy.
So,
good guy.
Mark, you play. You play. What do you play?
I played guitar. I play guitar.
play-
Especially
you're-
he's dueling
you're in a band,
banjos.
No, I used to be. I was in a band for
okay.
about a
Did
decade.
you guys play original music at all?
Nah, not really. It was a cover band.
Cover band.
Hey, by the way, one of our members, Dan, also plays
I
guitar
know,
too.
I know.
You guys talked or whatever. Sooner you guys are gonna get
Dan
together.
Bassi.
Jam. You play acoustic mostly, right?
I'm mostly a fingerstyle acoustic guitar. I'm a troubadour kind of guy.
Yeah, I was talking to recently. He said he plays electric. I go, you probably put electric guitar in Mark's hands, he can play it. I mean,
For sure, it's the
yeah,
same thing. But
yeah.
I like acoustic.
You prefer acoustic, yeah.
I like high-end acoustics. I have some nice. I have a very nice.
You're gonna have to excuse me for a minute. You guys
Martin
take
guitar.
the show.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be right back. Look, with that sounds already. Talk.
No, we're good.
I'll be right back.
Do the crickets.
Yeah.
Who was
Was that Rich? Oh, is this someone else on a bike?
What do you have on your face? You have like marker on your face.
Yo, we on hold right now?
I guess
We're
apparently.
on hold. We're gonna take a smoke break.
Yeah.
A
That's
smoke-
it.
And we're live back from the smoke break
And many
that I was
drinks.
not included. Yeah.
And we lost one of our brothers. Mark, unfortunately, had to leave. You know, he's a domesticated type of guy. He's got family and children, which is another good point about this club. Other clubs, you know, every club operates differently, but our club is revolves around family first, job second, clubs third. So, you know, to some people like us, that's important.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing more important than family and your job, because without a job, you can't have family. And, you know, as far as extracurricular activities like a club, that comes last. So we all try, all the members of this club try and do our best to maintain our camaraderie as brother members and everything. But sometimes it becomes tough because you do have families, you do have children, you do have other commitments and responsibilities, you know.
And that's a good thing to reiterate as far as
Yeah.
like, you know, members who
Like
are
what we're about,
even
yeah.
people who are listening to this who ride and are interested, but they don't, you know, they don't know how to get their foot in the door. Yeah, like
Hey, just contact. We're great guys. We won't bite you. I mean, you know that. I mean,
100%.
you know
And that, like I said, that goes back to how when he first got in the club before me, or affiliated with the club when he was prospecting, he wanted to kind of feel it out before he said, "Yo, Matt, like I think you
Right.
should maybe consider
Yeah,
joining
no.
too." Because
well, look at Dan Vassar, one of our newest members, right? So he saw us in a parade in Mayapack, Columbus Day Parade, and he contacted. Who did he contact? Was it Mark? I think it was
wasn't
Mark.
it? Oh,
Chip.
okay. I thought it was.
right?
No, it wasn't. I think it was Mark. So he contacted somebody because he just simply saw us in a parade, and he was always interested in getting into a club, and he was prospecting for another club. I won't mention their name, but you know, when you prospect for a club, this is an important point for anybody listening. If you see me, it's up to the club to see if you're the right pick for the club, and it's up to you to see if the club is the right pick for you.
Right. It's not
So-
just a one-way street.
Right, exactly. You know, a lot of people don't understand that. Just
And that
to
was
make
one of the
clear.
first things that you told me.
Yeah. I mean, you,
Before
know,
I
you
even
might not like
prospected.
us, and we might not like you.
Right.
You know, it works both ways, you know? And just so everybody, you know, everybody understands, most clubs, you start out as like hanging out with them, and then like they might, you know, some clubs will give you like a hang around flash. You're known associate or a hang around, and then you work your way up to like a prospect. And when you become a prospect, basically that means you give up all your rights of having a good time. That's the time where you're on probation to show that you're committed to doing what it takes to become a member of that club. And then not just our club, any club. That's what prospecting means. That means you're a prospective member you know, for that club. That doesn't mean you're a member yet. You're doing like the proving ground, so to speak, to prove that you're a worthy member. And then when, you know, once you put, you know, a certain amount of time in, you know, like prospecting or whatever, you know, eventually comes up to vote with the membership, and they'll vote yes or no or whatever. And sometimes they'll vote no. And if you stick it out, eventually, you know, you might come down to being, you know, getting a vote of yes. But that's really what it's about. I mean, with our club, you know, you guys know, both you guys follow us, and both you guys prospect with our club.
First two prospects.
Yeah, you guys were the first two, yeah. Well, as prospects, you guys could testify. In comparison to other clubs, prospects is very important because, you know, that's your moment to shine, to prove your worth to the club. But you guys could also testify with Värken Crüe. Some clubs tend to abuse their prospects, like take advantage of them, like, you know, treat them with a lack of respect, which really, as a prospect, you really don't deserve respect because you're not a member of the club. But at the same time, you know, that's one of the differences with our club. We try not to abuse our prospects, but I'm not saying you don't have to work and like prove yourself. You know, that's like prospecting 101. Everybody should have to do that. It's the same thing like you go in the military, you got to go to boot camp, and either you make it or you don't. You know, it's basically the same rule of thumb. But once again, reiterate, everybody that not only that starters club as well as like you guys talking about, both of you following some prospecting. You know, we've been steadily growing, at a slow pace, which is, what every club should be
Well,
about.
for how old we are, I wouldn't say that it's a slow pace, but
Well, we've been doing pretty good, but that's really what every club should be about for whatever your goal is. Our goal as a club is to grow so that we could, raise more money for the Children's Hospital, for the innocent kids. That's what we're about. Other clubs have different agendas or whatever, which is all fine, nothing bad, not to say anything bad about other clubs. Like when they have a fundraiser or whatever, for whatever reason, they have their own reasons and the money goes wherever it goes, and that's fine and dandy. But just make a quick point once again, Värken Crüe, which is the banner on the wall behind us, which is our colors, our patch. We're about raising money for the innocent, the children that don't have a choice and that, came down with some, bad disease or, that, aren't going to make it or whatever. And, that's what we're about.
yeah, it's actually right in our club's Instagram page bio. Our club fundraises for Maria Ferrer. How do you pronounce that? 'Cause I always
Maria
butcher it.
Ferrari
Children's Hospital of Westchester.
Yeah. All right. Well, what I wanted to make a point is I got married late in life, and I was a guy that said I'd never get married. Even from when I was a little kid, I can never explain why, but I stuck to that rule until I was 46 years old, and I met my wife, and I had no choice, and I got married.
I had no choice.
But unfortunately, my wife is 6 years older than me. I mean, she looks better than I do at her age, but it was past the point of having children. And I always told her, I said, it's sad that we didn't meet earlier on in life, because if I was going to have any children, I'd have it with her. I'd have kids with her. But like, you're young, man. Eventually, you're going to, where is she? She's off in the other room, Chelsea. No, wrong girl. Chelsea. Sooner or later, I hope that you get married and you start a family of your own, just like your dad did. And before we started this podcast,
There she is.
Yeah, there's Chelsea. So, when I finally met your dad's wife, and I never married before and everything, and I said, wow, thanks for marrying our member Greg. But the point is,
the only reason you thanked her is because you got me.
Well, the point is, her husband Greg, he is your father, and he had children. He was man enough to start a family on his own, and that says a lot about somebody. I never had the opportunity because I was just, excuse the expression, young, dumb, full of cum for most of my life. And I'm sorry, Chuck. I'm sorry. But listen. Be seriously, sadly, most of my life I was very selfish, and I only worried about me. And my mindset was, I have a hard enough time taking care of myself. Why would I ever get married and take on that responsibility of being a parent, or head of a household? And then I met my wife, and then all that changed. But like I already mentioned, it's too sad that we didn't meet earlier on in life. We would have had a family of our own. So hence Värken Crüe, when Gary came to me with this idea, starting it out with the car club and everything, I was on board. Like, this is the only way I know on a personal note that I could give something to show my appreciation for parenthood and for the innocent kids that didn't have a choice, that got stricken with some bad dilemma, some kind of disease or whatever. So again, this is what this club is about.
Not to mention, you kind of like if you're as the president, you're kind of the father of the club.
No, I'm not the follow. I'm just a member. All right.
Okay.
As president, the only thing I have to deal with is when you guys screw up, I'm the one that's going to answer to it. All right? That's the plain truth. So don't fucking screw up, all right? You two guys are here. And any of the other brother members, don't screw up, please, because I got to deal with it. I mean, you guys know at this point what the club is about. We show respect to everybody. Hopefully we get it in return. Respect isn't something that's taken for granted. You have to earn it. So like we mentioned earlier on before we took a break, when we started this club, everything was done backwards. We were very unknown. Nobody knew us. I mean, I knew like a handful of guys from other clubs, and I took the initiative to make phone calls, and that's how we started out. And when you go to somebody's club party or whatever, there's other clubs there, and they see you, and then next thing you know, you meet another club, and you shake hands, and you get somebody's phone, or you get the contact information, and next thing you know, it turns into a snowball effect. And then before you know it, every weekend, right? You guys, it was like a job last year. Every weekend, we were hitting parties every weekend. Solid. And thank God, paying a compliment to my wife, she was very cool with it because she always just listened to me complain about never having any time to ride my motorcycle. And I was always working, a lot of people don't know what I used to do. I have like a fairly large 2-car garage, detached garage across the driveway from my house. And for years to to help pay for the mortgage and stuff. I was doing side work, doing restoration jobs on cars and whatnot. And then it got to the point I just grew too old and too tired. And I always complained that I never had time to ride my motorcycle. So lo and behold, Gary comes along, and I already talked about the story. And now my wife, she's laughed. She goes, "You went from one extreme to the other. You complain like your motorcycle's collecting dust, and now you're out every weekend and I never see you." But she's like down with it. She's cool. She goes, "You work all the time. I'm glad you're finally getting out there and you enjoy yourself." I guess I'm one of the lucky ones to have a woman like that, because I know a lot of guys like, they're in relationships where your wife lets you go to Sturgis, yeah, like, what are you talking about? My wife would never let me do that. You married the wrong girl.
Yeah.
That's my reply,
Yeah.
So
I'm in the same boat.
Enough about that. Let me take a break. I'll take a sip. Somebody else talk for a minute. Let me catch my breath for a minute.
Well, on that note, I like to say the same thing. I've been married a very long time, and I've been working hard my whole life. And my wife, she's like any other wife. She wants things to get done, but she respects my time that I deserve to go out and hang out with my buds and ride the bikes. And
I can vouch for that, man. You both you guys work hard. Your brother Teamsters, and I know what you guys do. In comparison, right now in my life, you guys work harder than I do. And I've been in 34, 35 years in the local.
And you make more than us.
Well, maybe hourly, but on the average in the beginning, because I've always worked heavy construction, there was a lot of months every year I was laid off collecting unemployment, where you guys as servicemen working oil, you guys work year round. And also you get a lot of overtime during the cold months. So like you kind of, it's like,
I know. I was just making.
I know you're making a joke, not funny. It's like, so I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
No, but that's the thing, And I mean, if it wasn't for the club, I don't know what I'd be doing. I guess I'd be doing more stuff around the house.
Or you'd be working more overtime with your job.
Or working more overtime.
Yeah, one or the other.
But it's a great thing,
Did you tell the club, anyone from the club, how you got a little bit upset this past week?
Oh, I didn't hear this. What happened?
Oh,
I'm the president. I should know about this shit. What happened?
No, nothing to do with the club. It was the job. The job.
Oh, is that what you talked about earlier? Was it today, or is it something else?
That was another example.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be that specific, but.
Well, I just.
He went off. As the kids say, he went off.
I went off.
You blew a gasket.
At the job.
I blow a gasket every day in my job.
And I'm not around my coworkers or my bosses, so I'm out on the road dealing with customers and doing service. But we've been working a lot lately. We're under a lot of pressure to get a lot of work done, and sometimes I think it's needless, but that's what corporate wants.
Well, yeah, it's all about making money, man. You
Making money,
guys are the worker
they
bees.
have these bean counters up above in corporate that
bean
know
counters,
how to run the company better. They know more about it than we do. So. But, I've been working a lot of hours, and I forgot what day it was. I think it was the beginning of this week. I was burnt out from last week, and I let it be known that I was pissed off. I sent out text messages. We deal with dispatchers that send us our calls. They kind of decide where you're going to go and what your day's going to be like. So I sent every dispatcher in the company, even the former dispatcher who was up above the other dispatchers at this point. She does another job. Also, my field supervisor, who's second or third in line to the top manager at our place.
General manager, probably. Right?
Yeah, he's a field supervisor. He's the first level of management. So I just went off. I sent everyone a message that this company sucks. And
actually, lately I've been hearing a lot of the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it is a steady job though, and you get benefits.
It is. I can't complain that way. But sometimes it gets to you,
What you're saying is eventually, sooner or later, enough is enough, and stop the bullshit and cut me a break here.
Right. I mean, it's one thing when you're doing your job and we perform a service to their customers, the oil company. We fix people's heat, get their heat when there's
service,
emergencies.
man. Listen, during the wintertime, you guys go above and beyond the call of duty. I know that for a fact because I did oil delivery for 9 years with down in Westchester,
right.
And you work for what, which is what do you
sister
call it?
company.
What do you? Yeah. You're down at Woodbrook, right?
Yeah.
You're both servicemen, but I remember during those winters, man, the servicemen put countless on top of a gajillion countless hours of overtime in because especially when there's a severe winter and people run out of oil. who they count on? Serviceman. You guys show up, you get them going, and if they're out of oil, like a lot of times they're out of oil because unfortunately a lot of the homeowners, they don't understand that their fill, their what they call fill box, is their responsibility to keep free and clear of debris and
Right.
snow and so on and so forth, things of that nature. And I'm a delivery guy, and I show up, and there's 3 feet of snow that the plowed down the driveway, and it fills at the end of the driveway. There's 8 feet of snow on top of it. And I explained to the homeowner, like, that I'm not going to sit here and shovel snow for 45 minutes trying to find your fill.
Yeah.
And then I leave. Next thing you know, they run out of oil. And then you're the poor bastard that goes there because they're out of oil.
And
And
have
then
to
you
find
guys
the
dig it
fill.
out. Yeah, because they're under contract.
Right.
You know? Yeah, but,
But,
you guys, I have the utmost compliments for. Absolutely.
Well, same on the driver's end. You know, they're the ones that they're doing like 50 stops a day or whatever. You know, during
Thank
the
you, Greg.
prime months, and you know they're tracking through you know, waist level, knee level snow drifts to get
I could
to
tell you
the
some
oil
stories, man.
tanks.
I could tell you some. I got a lot of stories. We'll save for another time. A lot of stories.
I know those stories. I've seen it. You know, 40 years in the industry now. So
But anyway, getting back to how's this relate to the club? Did we lose track here?
Well, yeah, I guess we did.
That's okay. Well, he's talking about how proud he is that, you know, you're his son, and how proud he is
He
to be a
didn't say
Teamster.
that.
He's proud to be a Teamster, and he's proud to be a member of this club. and-
Did you even see that I put the sticker here?
What sticker?
It's a Teamster sticker. Teamster. They can
Oh,
see it.
yeah.
Is it in
I saw
camera?
that over
It's
there.
in camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teamsters Local 456. Proud to be union.
Well, Tommy's wearing some Teamster.
Yeah, this is my 30-year pin.
Yeah.
I got what, 34, 35 years in, and like I was driving to work one morning, and a brother union member from different local. He was an operating engineer, and he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I had to make sure I went to the meeting last night." And I go, "Why is that?" He goes, "I had to go get my 20-year pin." I go, "20-year pin? I got over 30 years. I never got a pin." He goes, "Oh yeah." With his logo, they make like a big deal about it. At the meeting, they call it people's names. Like, "Oh yeah, this member completed 20 years," and they give him a pin. I had over 30 years. Like, screw this shit. I stopped at the hall one day during the work day, and I went in the back door, and I go, I think it was Ashley.
Can I just say I like going in the back door too?
Yes. But up. Wait. We were. But anyway, I went in. I stopped there during the work
I gotta
day.
keep it Yikers Island too.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
know, yeah. But I went in the back door to the union hall, and the receptionist there. I think it was. Stop. I believe it was Ashley, whatever. Very nice girl and everything. And I explained to her like my dilemma, and she goes, "Hold on a second. What year's your book?" And I told her. She goes, "I'll be right back." And she comes back. She goes, "Here," and she presented me with a 30-year pin. And I go, "Wow, there's like no interest." Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
That's why not.
No ceremony.
yeah. There's.
Here's the ceremony.
Thank you. Yeah. There was no. They didn't make any big deal about it, and like, it wasn't brought up at a meeting. But I was happy to get it, so I probably wear it on my Värken Crüe vest. That's it right there.
So you must have gotten union when you were younger than me.
I started in 1986. I was 20 something, young 20s
Yeah.
when I started. Yeah, I'm kicking myself I didn't start earlier, but
Well, better than a lot of other people.
yeah. I mean, today, like you can't even apply for a job other than doing it online.
Right.
There's no more personable aspect of applying for a job anymore. You apply for a job. You apply for a job online. You post your resume. The world has become something that I don't like. Not to get off on a different track, but anybody looking for a job, and like I know damn well personal experience, like people that well deserve the job, and because like they didn't have on a resume because they didn't go to college and they didn't earn like a associate's degree in like liberal arts, they wouldn't be looked over.
Right.
Meanwhile, that person was the ultimate person for that job, that was being offered.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as like nobody, when I was growing up, you if you went to go apply for a job, you put on a suit and tie, and you went around and you walked into place and you asked to apply for a job, and they handed you an application and you filled it out. So part of it was about how you carried yourself and your body language and everything. Now everything today, I mean, social media, technology, everything's great in one way, but on the flip side, it's actually not that great because you're eliminating the personal touch from yesterday. He's over there twizzling around with his microphone. He doesn't give a shit about what I'm saying.
I do.
You're like one of those young jackasses.
No, I was just trying to fix this.
I mean that I love it because you're a brother member.
I was just trying to fix this. But I agree
You
with what
broke
you're
it
saying.
before. What do you mean try to fix it? I thought you fixed it already.
No, I don't know what's going on, man. I haven't touched this equipment in months. That's the problem. Speaking of which, that's what I was going to say next.
What?
I want you to speak a little bit about how this whole COVID thing has affected the motorcycle world, the parties.
Oh, it was devastating. It was devastating.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, now we're
Especially as a new club, too, nonetheless.
Well, fortunately, we had all last year to hit the ground running, and I mentioned it before, like, and it became a job, and every weekend we were doing, one, if some, maybe even as much 3 parties on a weekend, going out there campaigning, earning other clubs respects and everything. But this year, we would have been doing the same exact thing, and the COVID-19 thing hit, and I ran into other clubs at very limited times, and like, you guys been doing it? No, nothing. Like, we're not. One club, not to mention their name, we're not even having meetings. I was like, really? I was surprised to hear about that. The government. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a real thing with this virus thing going around, and I never got tested, but I was very sick from the end of January into February, and I can tell you my symptoms were I had a splitting headache, burning throat, fever, chills, shaking. You touch my skin, it hurt. Like, it actually hurt to touch my skin. And then I took aspirins. I self-medicated, took aspirins, and then I instructed my wife to go out to the store, and she bought me 3 bottles of NyQuil the first night. So only because I just wanted to go to sleep, I couldn't even take half a breath without coughing. I've never had anything like that before. I've had walking pneumonia before. I've had the flu before. I've had viruses before, like stomach virus, all this shit you grow up with as a kid. I've had all my inoculations, polio, TB, measles, mumps, whatever was out available when I was growing up. But I've never gotten sick like this before in my life.
So you should get the antibody test.
Everybody said the same thing. Unfortunately, unlike you, with your job, with your contract, you could take a day off, take a personal day or a sick day, and go to the doctor and get tested or go get a physical. My contract, I don't get paid when I take off.
Right.
If I call it sick, I don't get paid.
Right.
My job, I get paid when I show up. And other than that, I get 4 weeks vacation pay after completing 20 years of service with one company holding seniority in that yard. Otherwise, I don't get the personal sick time that you guys get. So I'm not going to take off to have some doctor say, oh, yeah, you had it, or you didn't have it, or you have the antibodies, or you don't have the, I don't give a rat's ass. All I'm worried about is that I survived.
Right.
And I started to say, I have a cousin that actually works in the hospital. Hey, Rob, shout out to my cousin Rob. And I talked to him in the recent past, after I was sick, and I told him all my symptoms. He goes, you had it. He's not a doctor, granted, but he's in the hospital every day, and he sees all the people that came in, they were diagnosed, test positive for this virus and everything. And he assured me that I had the virus. Luckily, I survived. If I did have, I survived. In my opinion, and again, I'm not a doctor, the worst thing you could do.
Keep hitting the wrong button.
When I hear these people that become so sick and they go in the hospital and they put them in a bed and they hook them up to a ventilator,
yeah.
To me, that's the worst thing you could do.
Oh, yeah.
If you think about it, common sense dictates this.
It kills them, basically.
Anytime you have a surgery, first thing they want to do is get you up out of the bed as soon as possible, get you walking around and get your lungs working. Otherwise, you develop pneumonia, which develops into more complications, and sometimes people die. Well, it's to me, the same rule applies. If you're that sick and like you test positive for coronavirus and they bring you in the hospital, and really there's no, any vaccine for it at this point or whatever, and they lay you down in bed and they hook you up to a ventilator, you're not moving around. Like, you're going to build up fluid in your lungs. And maybe I'm wrong, but typically it sounds like people die from pneumonia. Pneumonia is building up fluid in your lungs. It may start out from this virus attacking your lungs, so you're unable to absorb oxygen or whatever. But the worst thing, in my opinion, is for you to like lay down and play dead. Be hooked up to a artificial machine to help you breathe.
Yep.
Right. So maybe if I can't say, I'm not tooting my own horn like I'm invincible, but let's say I did get tested and I did in fact have it, I would say that the reason why I got through it, and I'm not saying I don't have underlying problems myself. I've been a smoker for close to 45, 50 years. Fortunately, lately, recently in the past few years, I've been wearing a patch, and I smoke very little at this point compared to what I used to smoke. But I mean, it's not to say it's a very bad thing for anybody to start smoking. If anybody's listening and you think it's cool to smoke, it's very uncool. You're going to find that out as you get older, become an adult. But and she's doing a vape over there. So,
That's not good either.
but anyway, if I did have the virus, if I did in fact have the virus, I would think it's because I didn't stop. And I have an old friend of mine. His name is Eddie Walsh. He lives in Connecticut. Hey Ed, I don't know if you're going to see this, but we talked about old age, and he said along the lines of old age, he goes, the way you live the longest is because you got to keep moving. And to coin the phrase, it's hard to hit a moving target.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's good.
And there was a television commercial. I forget what it was about. It was about something else. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. It's basically the same thing. But anyway, I don't know how we got to this subject.
No, that was I like that a lot. It's hard to hit a moving target. That's super.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing when I'm talking about the COVID thing. How do we get here? I
I brought up how did COVID affect the motorcycle world?
Oh, okay. All right. Getting back to that. Yeah. So there's no more parties. Nobody's doing anything, and the government. And I'm sorry, I have to talk shit about the government because the government sucks. And not specifically, but as a whole, the government sucks. The working man continuously takes it up the backside, and these big corporate, these big corporations, whatever. Oh, we need a bailout with our tax money. Meanwhile, they close down everything. We're out of work, and we're going to get a stimulus check, and I'm still waiting for mine.
Yeah, we didn't get.
And by the way, that stimulus check, you have to pay it back, right? You know, I don't even want to get into that. That's a whole political conversation. We'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah.
But as far as the motorcycle world, yeah, I mean the fear of God was put in everybody. I'm not saying it wasn't a real thing, but you definitely have I mean, not at least up here in New York, the numbers have been going down, which is a good thing. And I think at this point, I think it's ridiculous when I see somebody driving in a car by themselves with the windows up and they're wearing a mask and have rubber gloves on by
That's
themselves.
hilarious.
Or they're riding a bicycle down one of those, what do you call those, railroad paths or whatever, by themselves in the fresh air, wearing rubber gloves and a mask, by themselves and riding a bicycle. It's like, come on, man. If you can't breathe fresh air, you can't breathe anything.
Yeah.
Come on, people, wake up. Where's the common sense?
Well, it's not like the mask is a respirator anyway. I mean,
well,
come
that's
on.
another thing. These surgical masks everybody's wearing, they're useless because they're not sealed.
It's nothing.
I've done body work most of my life, and like even a dust mask is sealed tightly on your face as well as like a respirator when you're painting. It has to be sealed. And with my job, working with Con Edison, we take a fit test. And as a subcontractor to Con Edison, let me make that point. Every so often you have to take a fit test to make sure that you're doing it right so that you have your own, it's basically a dust respirator, not a respirator like when you're painting to cut out those other chemicals. But if it's, they check to see if it's not sealed tightly on your face, it's useless. And these surgical masks that everybody's wearing, they're fucking useless. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's stupid. And another thing, the people that wear a mask should be the people that are sick that have already been diagnosed. The people that are healthy really don't need to wear a mask. It's the people that are sick, so if they cough or sneeze, that their mist doesn't go out in the air and affect somebody else.
Helps contain it.
Is there an ICE assistant?
Look at this service.
Ice.
Where's my ICE assistant?
Ice.
Babe, why you...
Ice. Ice.
Thank you.
Ice. Ice. I need ice.
ICE assistant.
One more.
Just give me...
I'm having trouble saying it right now because I have about 16 vodka and orange juices, and I'm going to freshen it up once again.
Yep.
Thank you, ICE assistant.
Thanks, honey.
Hey, Greg, thanks for having me and while Mark was here, as well as your dad, as brother members, to put a plug in for Värken Crüe. And again, anybody listening, right now all systems are go for our first anniversary party, August 29th, at McCarthy's.
Got it right here.
Oh, there it is. What was it? 374 Route 52, Carmel, New York.
We're having a banger.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a live band, which is your cousin's, right?
Yeah, my cousin Pauline, she retired from, check this out, she retired from IBM, very intelligent woman, and she just decided, well, I think I'm going to take up the drums. Never played an instrument before in her life.
Really?
And the story goes, she told me she bought a drum kit, and she messed around for like 6 months on her own. And, she kind of got the hang of it. And then she went for like another 6 months, took lessons. And her husband is an accomplished bass player to begin with. So then after that, the rest is history. They had friends. This one plays guitar. The band has a mother and a son as singers, and so on and so forth. And they keep practicing, so on and so forth, and then they actually accomplished just like what Värken Crüe did, coming out of nowhere, and they started getting customers, gigs and whatnot, and they've been doing very well. So that's why we asked them to be the band that. As a matter of fact, I got to call them to make sure they're going to make that date. Last time I talked to her, she said they could, but we'll leave that for the next meeting. We got a lot of things to discuss. But I don't know if anybody could see it up here. First
So basically, you pay a $20 donation, and then you get fed.
Or couples $30.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get fed, and then you can buy some drinks and hang out, listen to some live music.
And you could buy 50-50. We'll have 50-50 raffles. We'll also have other raffles.
Right. And there'll be vendors there selling booze.
We're gonna have beer. We're gonna have moonshine. We're gonna have jewelry, and we're gonna have weapons.
Nice.
If he shows up, I gotta call him too.
Nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah, really cool stuff though.
For the hobbyists out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, live music and motorcycles.
And you're gonna meet us.
Exactly.
You're gonna meet us. You're gonna meet Värken Crüe.
Exactly.
And it's for a good cause. It's going to
right
the profits,
there.
going
Maria
to the
Ferrari's
Maria
Children's
Ferrari
Hospital.
Children's
Absolutely.
Hospital.
And like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, that's what this club was founded on.
Right.
To help the less fortunate, the innocent children, So, not to sound corny, but that's what we're about.
And we should mention now that it was brought up, a lot of my friends, which I really appreciate, have bought a lot of our supporter shirts.
I know. You're gonna probably get an award for the top selling t-shirt seller or whatever.
But like, we don't really make that much profit. The club itself doesn't make much profit at all.
We don't make, coin the phrase, diddly dick.
Right. Most of that money that we're selling supporter shirts, for those that don't know, and most of the money that we are making off of it goes towards the hospital.
Yeah, it all goes in an envelope, and at the end of the season, we're going to tally it up, and we'll get a check drawn up, and we'll go down there and present the check to the hospital. And this being our first year out as far as earning money, right now we really haven't earned anything as a club, and this is going to be the first stepping stone with this anniversary party. And if this goes well, there'll be other parties to follow, and we hope to keep growing. And I don't know if I ever talked to you two guys about it. Eventually, we want to, if it's possible, we want to grow into something as big as like Super Sunday that used to have Marcus Dairy over there in Danbury. It was a whole weekend, and everybody and anybody showed up.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. So sooner or later, hopefully. And again, it takes a lot of work. I don't know if we actually have the energy to accomplish something like that, but that is our goal. That was Gary and myself. That was our goal from the get-go. And we'll see what happens. But in the meanwhile, this is going to be our first event. And unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we'll see if we could actually pull it off.
Right.
You might see a cancellation literally a week before this date if the government doesn't allow them to open up 100%. Because we can't have the party if the bar isn't open and people aren't allowed to move around freely. We can't have limited seating, shit like that. So we'll see what happens. And if it falls through, then we'll make plans and we'll post it. We'll see. We'll go from there. But hopefully it goes through. And anybody shows up, we greatly appreciate anybody's support. And once again, if anybody's interested in joining our club, it's an open door. We'll come in. You can talk to us. We're very friendly. All of us.
We have. I mean, we're on all platforms at this point. We're on Instagram. Everyone who listens to this podcast probably knows me. You can hit me up directly. You can hit Tommy up directly.
Contact Matt. He's the secretary.
You can hit up Facebook. You can hit us on Facebook. I mean, we all have. There's 3 of us that have access to the Facebook account. We're open to all. We're all open to all walks of life.
Yeah, we're all about spending time together, riding, having good times, breaking bread together.
It's another family. It's a riding family.
Meeting each other, meeting all the families, wives, girlfriends, whatever. All the people in each of our families and whatnot. That's what it should be about. So, we're not I don't know what's the word to use. We're not a bunch of douchebags.
Yeah.
Or hoodlums.
Or hoodlums, yeah. We're just decent people. We like to ride, And for the most part, I think I mentioned earlier, I don't care what you ride. You got two wheels of rubber on the road, you're riding on 2s, man. You got respect from us.
Unless you ride a Grom.
Oh, yeah. You got to picture that thing again? Not to diss your
Died
friend, man.
on.
But
No, he knows. Like again, he knows.
you got a picture of it? Bring it up
I'll
again.
bring it up. I'll bring it up.
You're getting close. Where is it? Stay tuned. It's coming up.
Only being that he can't keep up with us.
Oh, here's a picture. There's the back
It's
of the
going
supporter
downhill.
T-shirt right there. Värken Crüe supporter right there. And that's actually the front. It's basically the same thing. Oh, there's the bike right there. What's your buddy's name?
Dylan.
Dylan, if you hear me, man, no disrespect, but it's a teeny bike, dude. You got to upgrade, man. If you need help find something, get in touch with us, man. We can find you a good deal on a bike. You know, you can talk to the Sipper. You know, he's the guy. He's the go-to guy to find you a good deal on a bike.
Yeah.
How tall is your friend that rides this thing? Is he as tall as you?
Almost. Yeah. It's sad.
Oh.
And he's way bigger than me. He's way.
What's
bigger
his
than
name? Dylan?
Yeah.
Dylan, you son of a bitch. Get
Son
to
of
the
beach.
choppers, go. What are you doing
Well,
over here, man?
he wants a Harley.
I know you said it's all about what he could afford, but
Yeah.
trust me, man. Like, if you sell that thing, whatever you get for that, and if you save a few
We'll
bucks,
find
or
you
whatever,
something.
Yeah, we can find you something. Richie's very good at it. Everybody knows Richie in the club.
Well, plus the other thing is that I tell him, and I've told a couple other people, like if you buy a shit box, like not a complete shit box, but if you buy something that needs a little work, that's what we're for. That's
yeah, you mean me?
Yes.
Me and Richie.
I'm trying to make myself sound good.
Okay, all right.
I'm
all right,
affiliated
yeah.
with you,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that's what we're for.
Meanwhile, earlier tonight, are you gonna do my handlebars soon?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
don't get me started with that.
Oh yeah. By the way, Chelsea, you didn't lose his parts for the handlebars, did you? He was worried like you're gonna move.
I told him he's got to do my handlebars before you lose the parts.
Listen, no disrespect. Just
I was told not to touch
no disrespect. Just like my
Exactly.
wife, because all women do a great job, like with the household doing stuff, and my wife has a
Yeah, it's
tendency
clutter.
to
It is
take
clutter.
stuff that I put it here. 2 days later, like I go to get it, where is it? And I go, Joanne, where is it?
I told him it.
probably put it in the wrong spot.
Well, no, she touched it. Not that she put it in the wrong spot. She touched it. Why did you touch it? I left it here. It should be here.
Because they don't like how it looks there. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Where his bike parts are, I hate.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I said something to you today.
Okay,
Not
well,
to touch 'em, so I
well,
haven't touched
well.
them.
Hence the point. I turned around, so you didn't lose his part yet, did you? Okay. I told him, I said, put everything in a plastic bag and tape the plastic bag to the handlebars. This way, nothing will get lost. Even if Chelsea picks it up and puts it down, it's
What I
like.
actually did the other day,
What'd you
I put
actually
all
do?
the parts in a box in the kitchen.
See, I didn't even know that.
I forgot
I
to-
didn't even know
I
that.
forgot
but
to tell
that's
you.
my, yeah,
That's the problem.
Exactly, Greg. That's my point
That's the
because
problem.
because he'll go look for like Chelsea. Where's my handlebars? Where's my?
You
You'd
just
be like-
proved our point.
You'd be like, it's over there.
Tommy,
You'll be screaming at him like he's an idiot. Like
You have to come over on the microphone, I think.
yeah, we got an open mic.
Okay.
Why not?
Why not?
but I didn't.
Chelsea doesn't want to be in
now I
this.
have to
don't know
relay
why.
what you're saying to them.
I didn't
to the viewers.
Move it. I just put it
In a box.
Chelsea didn't move it. She just put it in a
The
box.
question: where did you put the box?
In the same exact spot that the
All
box
right,
was.
all right, all right. So you're good.
I just wanted.
At
them
this
in
point,
the-
you're good. You got nothing to worry about. It's just there it is. At this point, you're good. You got
The
nothing to worry about.
problem is our
Right.
partners, as we get older, sometimes forget where they put it.
Yeah, well,
we're not
I
that
That's
old
my
yet.
case.
listen. I'm guilty of that myself.
Not yet.
I go like this. Where are my glasses?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where's my phone? Where's my
Yeah.
phone?
It's a touch of
Yeah.
senility,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. But anyway, once again, August 29th is our anniversary party. Hopefully, it goes through. Anybody
Did we say
interested?
where it is? We just said, right?
McCarthy's.
McCarthy's in Carmel, New York.
We'll go back to the flyer. Where was it? I don't even know the address. I just know where it is. I've
You
been living
did
there.
post that and mentioned it.
I did, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, it's right there. 374 Route 52.
I knew
Carmel,
he
New
said
York.
the address, but
I think Matthew's getting a little senile too.
no, I'm just. It's the booze.
Oh, I'm hammered, man. I got to break out the training wheels on my bike because I got to ride home. But, what's the matter? What'd you say?
She should just be at the
I know.
microphone
We got
at this point.
got the peanut guy over here.
I said, get him a water.
Get him a
So
water. I
what-
am drinking water. Ice is water.
So Tommy,
Right? Ice is water.
Tommy, can I ask you this? If it wasn't for Gary, do you think you would have ever wanted to start a club?
No, I give all the comments to Gary. He gets all the credit. Absolutely. Gary is like, I can't even begin to express my respect and admiration for that guy. And especially, like I mentioned earlier, I can't get into the specifics, what he had, the hardship that he had to go through. But I've never met somebody with broader shoulders than he has. I can't even discuss it right now because that's his personal business. But I've never met somebody like him. And Gary, on the comedy side, Gary's like, go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
and like he's a very lighthearted guy, and I never met somebody with that kind of outlook on life after going through what he experienced. And like I can only
100%.
imagine, like I said, I can't discuss it. That's his business. If anybody looks us up, you're gonna meet Gary or whatever, and like you want to talk to him, he'll tell you
He'll
his story.
tell you, yeah.
Yeah. Gary is he's one of the good ones, man. Absolutely. It's a privilege that I met him.
And it's a privilege to have him in the club, yeah.
Yeah, as well as you guys, man. It's a privilege.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. Well, that's what our family's about. That's what Värken Crüe's about.
Well, yeah, when you first, that's part of the reason that brought me as well as probably my father into the club is when we realized what it was actually about, especially with Gary's background. It was like, yeah, we're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and as you well know, his son Andrew is an honorary member. We had, that was a given. And anybody that comes to this event, you'll meet Andrew. He'll probably be the guy out there parking your motorcycles for you. Directing your, where you're going to park. When a great guy, you can't help but love the guy. You'll understand when you meet him. Good people, and obviously he's a product of Gary, and as well as Gary, good people. Very rare individual.
Yeah.
Gary, I love you, man. Go fuck yourself. Unfortunately, Gary couldn't make it here tonight because he's whooped. He's old. He's a fossil, and he chooses still to work. So, he's 66 years old now, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, rigor mortis already said, and unfortunately not in the right spot in his body. But,
Hey, so what? I want you guys to talk a little bit about your first Harley. No, wait. Let me go beyond that. Your first motorcycle.
Oh, both of us?
Yes. I want to hear
him first.
Go ahead.
Because I have a very long story.
Go ahead,
you know
Pop.
that. Go ahead, Pops.
Well, I've been experimenting with motorcycles most of my life as a kid.
Your first road bike. What was your first?
Oh,
road
road bike. You said first motorcycle.
Well, my first road bike was I was actually in the Air Force. I went in the Air Force when I was 17.
By the way, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
And
Just like this tattoo I got on my arm, my father was a veteran of the military. So God rest his soul. But go ahead, Greg. I'm
Amen.
sorry.
And no, we were just up in. I had got the urge to buy a bike. I bought actually my first street bike was a Yamaha 650 Special, 1979.
I know
or
the
80.
bike. I know the bike.
Wait, what was
Yeah.
it? What was it? Let me bring it up. Let's bring it up.
Yamaha 650. What year was
Special, 1980, I believe.
it? Was it? They have
Or
spokes.
81? It did.
Spokes chain drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was it? Yamaha what?
650.
Special.
Had the straight seat on it. They have a chrome fender on the back.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I bought it because I couldn't afford a Harley at the time.
You didn't want a Harley back then. They were junk.
Yeah, it was AMF years.
They were leaking oil, parts falling on the road behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, AMF, forget about it. Did garbage.
And
Is this it?
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it. Is that the Special? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I had an 1100.
That's an 81, but it's
I-
similar, right?
Yeah, somewhere. I think it might have been an 81.
I had the same bike. It was 1100. XS Midnight Special.
yeah.
4 carburetors, 4-cylinder, shaft drive. Is this a shaft drive bike or is that chain? I can't tell.
I
I
don't
can't tell from that
remember.
picture. It's probably in stats up there. That's basically the bike you had?
It kind of similar, yeah. Yeah, it had it been because it was right around that year. So
It was
I
a
bought
great bike
brand
though,
new.
right?
Yeah, the day I picked it up, I had ridden like little Yamaha 60s, when I was a kid.
Right, dirt biking, whatever.
Dirt bikes and stuff,
Right.
and so I just felt the need to get a bike. So actually, mine had a king queen seat on it,
Now, did you what year was this?
Is that the
1980.
seat
so it
over
looked
there?
more like a Harley.
So this was the
Yeah, it's a little
year.
different.
So
different than
Dad,
that
this was the year that
That up
you.
there? See like that?
Yeah.
So Dad, this was the year that you impregnated my mother.
Really?
Do we have to get personal here on this?
It was 1980.
No, it was in between. Yeah.
My
it
brother was born
I think
1980.
your brother was a baby then.
All right, Greg, I'm sorry. I need play information like what happened that day. It's like, what-
I don't recall. No, but he was already.
all right.
I think Matt.
Saying
I think Junior was already. I think he was an infant then, actually. So yeah, I was young, you know. So young father and still had a need for a little speed. But it's a funny story. I went to go pick it up and I hadn't.
Did we
ridden.
say how old you were? Did we say that?
No, does it matter?
Well, I'm just trying to give context. It's I think it's amazing where you like the way your life went and then where you ended up. Can
it's a
I?
sad story, isn't it?
No, it's not a sad story. It's amazing.
Anyway,
I think they did pretty
it's
well.
it's too boring.
I can't. I'm not allowed to say that.
No, that's fine.
Apparently,
So,
it's not
in
boring to your
19
son.
In 1980, my father was probably about what 18,
19.
19 years old.
Yeah. And I had my first child.
He had his first. My brother.
That's when you lost your virginity.
Yeah. But
Yes,
yeah.
just
So
talk-
to
just talk
tell a
about the
quick
bike.
story, when I like I said, I hadn't ridden for a couple of years, and so I went out and bought that. I went to the I forgot how I got to the dealership to buy it, to pick it up, but I just
Probably rode
bought
your
it.
Schwinn bicycle over there.
Probably
it
something
up,
like
yeah.
that, because at the time his mother wasn't driving a car. So anyway,
Well, sure, she's barefoot and pregnant, right?
yeah. So she hadn't even had a driver's license.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's another
Okay.
story for another day. But yeah. So anyway, I pulled out of the motorcycle dealer, and I pulled out and meant to take a left onto the main road, head back to the Air Force Base, and wasn't used to it quite. I wasn't expecting the kick that I had because the last thing I drove was a Yamaha 50 or something like that, right? So it actually
Would that be equivalent to Dylon's bike?
pretty close. Yeah.
Teeny, no power, yeah.
So I went to take the turn, and there was a lot of traffic, kind of. So I was trying to sneak in between, and I went a little faster than I thought. I almost crashed the thing on the first turn I took with it.
And you still do the same thing on your
I
Harley.
was just about to say,
Yeah,
no one would
man.
be
Put up a-
surprised by that.
It's more controlled now, though. Yeah. So anyway, so that was my first bike, street bike, and kept it for a little while. Then I realized, I got an infant, and maybe it's not a good thing. I sold it like a year later. So a few years went by, maybe 5-6 years. A friend of mine was selling a Honda CB900 Custom, which was a
Nice
beautiful
bike.
bike. It
Yeah,
was
nice bike. I knew somebody had one.
Yeah, they had it was a 5-speed with a high range and a low range in it. It was pretty cool.
What year?
I think it was an 83, but I bought it used. Like
You bringing up
it was like
pic-
86.
You gonna bring up a picture of it?
CB900 Custom. It was like an
Over there?
83-ish.
CB900? Right there.
Tell me which
The
one.
one actually down below there in the middle. Nope, to the left.
Right there.
The blue one. There's actually
That's
that.
custom, high low range.
This
right?
one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one right there.
yeah, that's the actual color.
Oh, look at that. That's a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, it was a beautiful bike. It had some kick to it, too.
Carburetors back then.
Yeah, it was a beautiful bike.
Dude, the
That's,
bikes back in the day must have been so much louder.
That's shaft drive, I believe.
Was this bike loud, Dad?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than
So-so.
more than nowadays, right?
No.
Yeah,
Not-
it had a
not
rumble,
louder
but
than a
not.
Harley.
You could buy a brand new Harley today. It's like
Yeah,
nothing.
it sounds like a fucking.
Those bikes rumbled more.
Right. That's what I was
But I
getting
love
at.
that bike. But the same thing happened with that. I was riding it for a little while, almost wrecked it. It was, and then by that time we had your sister, Chrissy,
This episode is brought to you by.
and yeah, I almost
Oh,
wrecked
absolutely.
it
God
up
grab
and
some.
realized, I got another child, and I got rid of it.
So you just went through this cycle again and again,
Yeah,
and,
I
then
just-
you had me, and you went through the same thing.
And he's like, all right, I had another kid. I'm getting a Harley.
Yeah. Well, the
So
Harley,
what was so Dad, what was your first Harley?
that was a wide glide. So
All right, year and make model.
really, you want the serial number too?
No.
I originally wanted to get a wide glide, and then I ended up getting a 03's anniversary Fat Boy.
Fat Boy. Yeah.
And I thought that bike was a shit until I bought a street glide.
was an
And in
04.
comparison, Fat Boy's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. Harley got it right when they developed the street glide, the Ultra, the road glide, whatever. Totally
Dad-
different
Dad,
animal,
just
very
point to which
comfortable. Man,
It
which
was,
bike is it?
2004.
This one. This
Wide
was
glide?
it. This was it. This was the same as that bike.
That's it.
That's
Teal,
it.
green, and silver.
I knew which one it was. I remember this bike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the, Tommy.
Dynaclass, yeah.
Tommy, this is the bike I remember.
That was the bike I was originally wanting to get.
Yeah.
Actually, Joe Russo, our road captain, has that.
Oh, really?
He's got an 03 anniversary. He's got a
Oh,
Dyna
no
Wide
shit.
Glide.
This is the
And
bike.
he changed the tranny. He put a 6-speed tranny on it.
He did it.
Yeah, because anybody like the 88 Cube engine, anybody that has that time era bike, 88 Cube was he was good enough at that time. But that 5-speed transmission, anybody's on the highway, he hits 60 miles an hour. You're like, where's the next gear?
All right.
You're like, what the fuck? There's no
I think
sixth gear.
This is the year they went up to the 96, I think, the 04, I believe.
I don't know what year they transformed from the
I
88.
believe that was 96.
Did they change the tranny at that time too to 6-speed or?
Yeah,
Because Joe has an 03, so. What year was your bike?
04,
So it was a year older. You had a 5-speed though, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it was fun, it was good, and then life got in the way again. I kept it for a few years, and
No, you're wrong.
What do you mean life got in the way? What
yeah, pretty much.
what do you
This
mean?
is the specs.
What do you mean life got in the way?
My
What?
son had a lot of things, so I never had time to ride. We did a lot of.
Well, I was
functions,
about in
traveling.
04. I was 9 years old.
Yeah, and you were starting to play travel ball, baseball, and all that.
Again, as a parent, good father you had, he gave up one of his passions
Well,
for
he
once
didn't-
again one of his children.
He didn't give it up in 04. He gave it up a few years later when I
He
was a
said
little older.
When
eventually-
he got a little older, yeah.
He said
Yeah.
eventually he had no choice. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
As
no-
a parent, which I was never ready to take on the responsibility.
But in hindsight, I actually should have kept it and just not rode that
Oh,
much.
thanks.
right
Thanks a lot.
now, you're all my children now as president of this club.
But when I call you the father, you're like, no.
Hey, wait, you know what? I'm gonna get Gary to mix up a big thing of Kool-Aid because that's his nickname, Kool-Aid, because he
Yeah.
loves Fords.
Yeah.
I always joke around with Gary. They drank the
drank
Kool-Aid
the
because
Kool-Aid.
Fords are fucking junk. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Go
Greg,
fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah. I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
So yeah,
This
again,
is the specs on the 04 Wide Glide, by the way.
if anybody cares.
2-cylinder, 4-stroke, 45-degree V twin. Oh, it's a V twin. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So.
1449 cc.
I
So
guess
it's
was
an 88 cube.
It was 88. I thought
It's
it was
an 88
90
cube.
I thought it was a 96.
Just like my Fat Boy in 03. Yeah. Except that bike was 4-cylinder though, right?
Yeah. No.
No.
2-cylinder.
Oh no, yeah. Wait, which bike are we looking at?
This is the 04 Wide Glide.
Oh, the Wide Glide. Okay, yeah. So just like my Fat Boy.
This is the first Harley I've ever seen, pretty much. Like that I've been able to see like on a daily basis.
Right.
Well, tell us your first bike. I believe it was a yellow, electric powered.
Yeah.
I wish we had a picture of it here.
Yeah, flea market
That
bought.
little chopper.
We do
he
have a
had.
picture of it.
Did you
We
plug
do
it
have a
in at
picture.
night to recharge it?
We
The
do.
battery?
We do have a picture of it, babe. Can
Chelsea.
you, can you go get the picture of me on the bike in the bedroom?
The naked one.
No,
one
not the
where he's
naked.
naked
You got it.
on the bike. All right. All right. We're gonna
That-
see a
but-
naked
The
picture.
little
of Matt
yellow
now.
bike.
You know, it's funny. I keep
Canary yellow.
telling her when you see this picture, it's me. I turned around on the dead
You
end
with the
here,
little wiener naked on the bike.
Yeah.
Well,
and I turned around here on the dead end, and I'm riding back this way, and either him or my mother snapped a picture of me. I want to recreate that picture with me on my bike now, and then put them side to side.
awesome.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool,
no, that's
right?
yeah, that is, yeah.
You'll see when you see the picture. It would make more sense. But
How old were you?
9 or 10, probably around the time where he
Not
had this.
even. Not
He
even.
definitely had this
And-
bike then.
And how old are you now? 12, 13? What?
I don't think I had
Let
the
me see this
bike.
picture.
Yeah.
Let me show the camera.
I have to absorb this. I'm sorry.
Matching-
Everybody has to
matching
wait
helmet.
a minute. Yellow? Really?
They bought it, not me.
With
Well,
the yellow helmet?
They bought
was-
it to match.
It was yellow.
You're wearing
or-
yellow pants.
I think they had yellow.
What the fuck?
I think the option at the store at the time was yellow or pink.
Listen, if I was a parent, I'd say, oh, it's so adorable. But I'm not a parent, dude. You look like an idiot. I'm just saying.
Well, at least I was riding, right?
Yeah. No.
Let me see
You put
that
up the
again.
camera?
Yeah.
How do you know that's getting in focus?
It will focus.
Yeah.
I don't play around.
Let me see that picture again. I haven't seen it in so long.
So you're like 9 or 10? Yeah,
I'll pass to you after.
No, I think you were younger than that. I think you were like.
Hey, wait,
6
that
or-
was an electric bike? What was that?
Yeah, it was a little electric one. I think you were like 6 or 7 actually.
Oh, better be.
I think you were about 7 there.
Is it on?
Because he actually started riding a bicycle.
We've been talking for the
young.
last hour or so. And it
It hasn't been on. No record.
Hit the button.
You forgot to charge the battery.
Is it dead?
It's dying, yeah.
It died.
Maybe we better end this right now before it goes totally dead. You want to say goodnight?
Well, regardless, we still have the recording, so.
Yeah, but you want people to see the visual effect.
No, I know. It probably
Brought the
died.
banner over.
It probably died recently. Well, I was gonna ask you about your first bike.
Okay, real quick. So, my father's father, my grandfather O'Leary, Grandpa O'Leary, he, when I was around 5, 6 years old, and my sister being 4 years older than me, and my father's only other sibling, my Uncle Neil, he had 2 siblings and they're older than me. I'm like the baby out of the 4 of us. My grandfather went to Caldor's and bought a Rupp mini bike. And you probably don't know, you never heard of Rupp, a Caldor department store, which is down in Peekskill off Route 6. Years ago, it closed down or whatever, but there was like these well-known department stores like Caldor's and White's, whatever, but they sold Rupp mini bikes. And my grandfather bought, I believe he bought 2 Rupp mini bikes, and he bought a 50 Honda Mini Trail with the fold-down handlebars. So there's 3 mini bikes shared among the 4 of us. Me being the youngest one, I always had to wait, for somebody like to take a break, and I'd take a ride on it. But that's really when I started riding a motorcycle, on a Rupp. And then the Honda, and then I, graduated from there. Riding dirt most of my life, and really I only started riding street when I bought my first bike. That was a Yamaha 1100. That was an 80 or 81 XS Midnight Special. 4-cylinder, 4 carbs, shaft drive. Then I had a Honda Shadow. That was a small bike, V45 Magnum, I guess.
Does this look right?
Bring it up. It was an 80 or 81. XS Midnight Special, 1100. Yeah, I think you got it there.
This one?
No, the 1100 right there, up there, in the middle. Or either or. Yeah, basically, yeah. That bike, I remember, it weighed 556 pounds, and that was like considered a monster. I mean, in comparison to the bikes we have now, like they're 900 pounds, but that bike was unbeatable. It was a touring bike. It wasn't a racer. It was like, in between. But that thing was an animal. It really was. And at times it became scary,
Yeah.
But that was one of my first street bikes, and I had a V45.
I'm spoiled now, huh?
Yeah, I know. You got a Street Glide, man.
I know.
That's
my second bike. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, that's one of the best bikes that Harley made, in my opinion. And they got it right when they designed that bike. And you're lucky to have a Street Glide. And I don't think you need anything else other than that.
I am.
Unless
lucky.
you want to, unless like a newer version of it comes out down the road that might be a little bit better.
Right.
Maybe you might want to trade in or sell and upgrade. But I have a 14, and I love my bike. And like for many years, for 14,
It's basically the same.
Basically up until they changed the motor to the Milwaukee 8 with the 107 to 114. The engine being different, but it's still the same bike.
It's the same, yeah.
I mean, the infotainment's a little bit different with the technology, but it's still basically the same bike.
Barely, yeah.
It's still basically the same bike. I love my bike, man, and
And can I just say that
you can. What are you gonna say?
your color is better than Richie's color.
I love Richie's color. I really do.
I like your color
I
better.
first saw that bike. Me and Gary were working down in Port New Rochelle. It was lunch break. We were right around the corner from Empire Harley Davidson. I said, Gary, jump in the truck with me. During lunch, let's go to the Harley deal and look at the bikes. We walked in the dealership, and I don't know if you know that dealership. The front of part of that building is all like glass.
Right.
And they had that 2016. It was 2016 that year. Brand new Street Glide with the Velocity Red, which is what Richie's bike is. Mine's Mysterious Red. And the sun was shining through the glass.
Wait, it's a what?
My bike is a 14.
No, but what's the color called?
My bike is Mysterious Red. And Richie's is Velocity Red.
Like that, right?
You got something for that? Velocity
Red?
All right, whatever. But I fell in love with that color to begin with. So my buddy Peter Cook found my bike, and
I know Peter Cook.
Yeah, Peter Cook, can I help you? Anytime you call him up, Peter Cook, can I help you?
That's my guy.
Yeah, he's a great dude. We'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, when Peter Cook found my bike, it was a 14, And I didn't know at the time that he said, yeah, it's the red that you want, blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't realize that they didn't come out with the red that I want until 2 years later, which is the bike that Richie has. His is 16.
Your red's better.
His is more like a
It's
a
softer.
cherrier kind of.
Yeah.
Mine's like more like
Darker. I like
darker.
it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I
still.
like it. I like yours better, but that's personal preference, I guess.
It's still what do you call it? Like a pearl color, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's basically it's like a candy color. You got a base coat, then you got a tint, and then you got a clear. It's a 3-stage system.
Yeah.
But I like my color. I thought about repainting it like to the same color that Richie's bike is, but until like I get some damage on, I just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I like yours.
So, where'd you go? Smoke break? Ooh, excuse me, I just burped.
So what was your first Harley? That's what
My Fat Boy.
that's what we were getting at.
And for years, I told a coworker that I
Year, make, model.
2003 Fat Boy Anniversary Edition. And trust me, they bent me over the barrel with no lubrication for the price I paid for it. $24,058.06 out the door. MSRP was $17,100. I didn't order a bike, and you couldn't get these anniversary editions unless you ordered them. And I had a big wad of cash, and I went around. I got discouraged at first, and then my neighbor.
Is that it?
No, that's not it. That's not a Fat Boy.
Oh, that's what they said.
No, that's a soft-tail deuce.
That's what Google says.
Yeah, right there, solid rims. Over there. Solid rim, right there. That's the front rim. Yeah, there it is. That's my bike. And that year, they still had, they were really pushing the fuel injection, but I was old school. I want a carburetor. That was the last year that you can get the available carburetor.
So you had a carburetor?
I had
on
a
the
carburetor,
bike?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
You met my buddy Tony Vituli.
Mm-hmm.
He works for Metro North. He's got the same identical bike. You saw him. He rode that. That's his bike. But he got it fuel injected.
Okay.
Same identical bike. Great bike, but
That's all us youngins know is fuel injected.
yeah.
Again, we're spoiled. Just like he tells me. He tells me all the time that
You youngins. Yeah.
especially in the oil industry, that with all the new controls and all this shit, we're lucky. That's what he says. We're lucky.
Looking for what? What new controls are you talking about?
Just like you don't get sooted boilers anymore. You don't get, you know what I mean? Cause
Oh yeah, all technology and everything. Yeah. You can plug a laptop in and like tune the boiler.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. There's controls for it. Yeah.
That's bullshit. I agree, Greg. I agree. The old school that we knew, they'll never know.
No, they don't come home looking like a raccoon every day.
Like you never grew up with a rotary phone.
What's that?
Oh come
I
on.
know what you mean.
You've seen that in a movie,
No, you go like this.
right?
You go.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds better. You're making it sound better, but
Like that. They actually had a video I saw on YouTube. They had somebody like what we call millennials, right? These young kids or whatever, and they gave them a rotary phone and said dial this number, and they were pushing their finger in the holes like a push button, but they weren't turning the dial because they didn't know what it was.
They had no idea concept of it.
You have to remember something. When we were growing up, there was no cell phones. There was no video games. What the hell was that?
nothing. It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
I want some crickets. We. There was no cell phones, no video games. If you want to make a phone call, you stopped on the corner driving the car. What was that? Oh, there you go. That's how you dial it. Yeah.
But you take the
One.
phone off the hook.
This,
though.
this,
Five.
this is a how-to.
Each time I let go and goes back.
How-to video how to
it'll
dial a
actually
phone.
connect, I have to pick up the receiver. This is called. So
Yeah, so you have to pick up the phone first before you dial.
Pick up the receiver first.
And then you hit the button to hang up.
It's live. So now
I can't believe they actually have videos like this. It's like, my God.
1, 2,
Oof.
3, 4, 5.
You know, son-
And you hated having to call somebody that had like a 799 phone number because you had to go all the way to the bottom
Yeah,
and,
like-
and go all the way around and then wait for it to come back.
Wait, what about this? What, if you're in a rush dialing the phone number and like sometimes your finger would slip out and you miss dial, like fuck, and you gotta hang up, start over again.
So another
You're like-
dime in
like-
the phone booth. It costs a dime for a local call.
What's the phone booth? I know what a phone booth is.
I don't think you do.
I know.
Because the phone booth that you know is just like
It's a movie with Colin Farrell.
No, that's like the old aluminum phone booths or whatever. Yeah. My grandparents had a luncheonette in Mount Vernon. They had a solid oak phone booth in the luncheonette, and when you shut the door, you had a few amenities. You had a solid
little
oak seat
seat,
to sit
yeah.
on. A light came on. You had the phone book. You kids don't know what a phone book is anymore.
Yellow Pages.
And when you shut the door and the light came on, a fan would come on. You know why there was a fan? Because smoking was socially acceptable back then. Everybody smoked everywhere. So when you went in this phone booth for privacy, you shut the door, the light would come on, you have the phone book, and the fan would come on, you'd smoke a cigarette, and, the exhaust would go out.
Keep it cooler too, actually, from the body heat.
And they were made out of solid oak. Oak, not aluminum, not metal.
That was an
oak.
oldie but goodie one.
Yeah. I actually had one of those old phones that, you like this, and you crank it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father.
That's so cool.
I have it. I'll show it to
With
you
the
next time we're
horn
over.
microphone.
It worked. Does it work?
Yeah, I can hook it up, actually.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
My father made his living in the phone company, Ma Bell. You probably never heard of Ma
I
Bell.
love old shit like that.
Your grandfather worked for the phone company. He used to bring home all those old antique phones.
How come we don't have any?
I don't know what happened. I think the divorce, they went somewhere. I don't remember.
Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, like the first, like the phones like what you just saw, like this, with the rotary, those phones were like the boat anchor for the Titanic.
Yeah.
They were built
Yeah.
to last. They were heavy.
They were a deadly weapon.
Yeah, man, you could
You
kill
got
somebody
hit
with
with
one
it.
of them things. Long before they moved on to plastics and whatever.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about phones, man. This is supposed to be like a fun time, man. What happened here?
It is
You
fun
drink too
time.
much?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's talk about our fake money, which is counterfeit. Anybody want this?
Oh,
$20.
there's a
I give you 100 for 50. What's all this about over here? You got a lot of good trinkets here.
So our one of the friends of the show, one day he was I don't know how to put it. He was flaunting his money, and then he was saying like, "Oh, I'll bet you this, that, and the other thing," and he's throwing it down. I'm like, "Yo, what?" So I grab it. I'm like, "All right."
You give him a fake one back?
Well, he didn't even say it was fake. He was just throwing it down. I'm like, all right, word, I'll take it. And I grabbed it, and I was like, yo, this is fake. So I think he was just trying to, like,
Pull a
flaunt
fast one
it.
on you?
Like, no. He wasn't actually going to bet the money, but he was trying to, like, show off. Like, oh, I got this.
This is what you get for fake money.
Yeah,
You get both of them like this.
exactly.
Don't say his name.
Yeah, I'm not. I think anyone who's listening to this and has listened to past episodes is going to know anyway, but.
Listen, man, I'm growing tired. How long have we been talking, man?
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
We gotta wrap this up. But wait, one last time. Go back to our advertisement. Right there. First anniversary party, Saturday, August 29th, 7 p.m. to midnight. All are welcome, and we mean that. All are welcome. Good times with good people. We're all good people.
It's going to be super fun.
We don't bite. My cousin's band is playing Sticks and Stones. We have support gear. Basically, that means we have T-shirts, we have tank tops, we have long sleeve shirts. As time goes on, we'll graduate into other types of gear, whatever. But again, we're still basically in the infancy stage as far as being able to afford to buy like support gear to make money for the Children's Hospital. Anything else I should mention? Yeah, 374 Route 52, Carmel, New York, 10512.
McCarthy's.
McCarthy's,
The
Grill
local
House.
people will know.
$20 donation per person. If you come with your wife or your girlfriend, $30. You get a little bit of a break. And hopefully you can make it out. And if anybody's interested in talking to us about if you ride and you're interested in like potentially having a good time, potentially joining a family, you could approach any one of us. Me being your president, or even simply, even if you run into one of our prospects, you can talk to a prospect. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
And I could tell you right now, we have one prospect at the moment, Phil, and he can't wait to become a full patch member of this club, and he's very excited about it, and I'm excited that he makes it the whole way, and so it's all good. So if anybody's interested, you can talk to any one of us, and if you're available, please come and help us support the children at the hospital, and I think that's about all I have to say, man.
And again, this donation, this $20 or $30 donation, you get to eat. You get to basically eat all you want, and then you just got to pay for drinks. That's it.
Yeah. With that being said, if we have to contemplate X amount of people that are going to show up to this, so it's a gamble. So there will be some of the food. We will be running out of some of the food during the course of the evening, but there is other dishes that we're going to have out. If we run out of those things, it's easier for the restaurant to replenish that. So in a word, if you leave there hungry, then you got to approach me and tell me, because I don't want anybody to leave there with an empty belly. You know, everybody should be able to, load up their plates and get a good meal and enjoy themselves and have a few cocktails. And by the way, everybody be responsible, whether you're riding a bike or you're driving a car. Be responsible when you leave. And hopefully, as long as this COVID-19 thing is lifted and they're able to open up the restaurant 100%, we will have the party. I think I mentioned earlier on, literally probably like a week before, maybe 2 weeks at the most. If it's not going to happen, we're going to have to put out a cancellation, or whatever. Unfortunately, be last minute, because we're
trying to be optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it will be, because August 29th, not the whole club, but most of us are going out to Sturgis, South Dakota this year for their 80-year anniversary
And they're
rally.
on.
And they already had a meeting, and they're on. With that being said, I'm assuming by August 29th that at least the restaurants, along with the bars inside the restaurants, will be 100% capacity, as far as being open. So we will be able to have a party. On that, man, looking forward to it. I hope it works out, and I'm glad you had me on here.
It was awesome, man.
And
awesome.
I hope I can come back.
Yeah, 100%. I was saying to Mark before he left that I think you would make a good regular. Like, just come on, just even.
I can only do it once a month.
Even if it's not club related, just
I'll
come
do it
on
once
the
a month.
bullshit.
I'll come back once a month.
We would love it.
I'll come back as a civilian.
We would love
That's
it.
fine.
We would love it.
All right, all right. Well, you know what? Now I got to write up a whole bunch of material now. I got to come with my guns loaded.
No, you don't even need that, because you're just
Listen, it's not me. It's the vodka talking. A little bit of orange juice, some ice. No, thanks for having me on. And thank you, Greg. Put aside that you're his father, but thank you as a brother member for joining us. And, okay, for what it's worth, Mark, the time you spend here, he's not here no more.
Yeah.
I love you, Mark. Everything's cool.
Well, Mark's going to come back, too. He wants to come back.
Yeah.
He wants to play a little music for the podcast and stuff. It'll be cool.
And listen, as President's Club, speaking for all of the members, a heartfelt message goes out to Gary Malmstrom. Go fuck yourself, because we love Gary. He's awesome, and he's the reason why we really started this club.
Yeah.
And without him, it wouldn't have been possible.
100%.
So we love you, Gary. Go fuck yourself.
Amen.
So,
You want to say anything as the first time guest?
want to say
as
some
well?
last words? Give
It's
us a
been
blessing.
real, man.
It's been real.
Wait a minute. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so what, we
All
have
right.
to say like from something. Good night, y'all.
No, that's it. That's it.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening, guys.
All right.
Until we
Round
meet
of
again.
applause.